morning. I'm so happy to see you the same faces again in a short period of time, of course. And today, inshallah, we'll have like a fantastic, extremely wonderful module, which is a corporate social responsibility and sustainability. I promise you, by the end of these 2 days, you will see the world in a different way. I promise you, I will change your ideas about some companies from positive to more positive, and from positive to a little bit shaky about the behavior of the companies. I will show you lots of videos. We will have a lot of case studies, so it will be like much more interactive. So for those who love to see videos, different kind of videos, so they will love this one very much. And for those who don't like to see too much videos, just please say, enough, we had enough. Because in each video, there is a story behind the video. But at the end of the day, you will like the module. For you who didn't see me before, my name is Abdallah Ibrahim. I'm a physician, a doctor by profession. Now I'm here with Geneva Business School for more than 1 year, going from like Al-Khobar, Riyadh to Jeddah, doing quality management, business ethics and corporate social responsibility, and also I'm doing the some module with the healthcare management. My background, like I moved from medicine in Egypt to study in the UK for a master's degree, doing research in Tanzania, and with the research, this is the first time I have been facing with the ethics, with the research ethics. And then back to Egypt, left the healthcare for a while to work with international NGO called Plan International, where I knew the development. And then I moved to Bahrain, worked with the Ministry of Health in Bahrain, and introduced to the quality and healthcare and accreditation and quality management, study more in quality, take MBA like you, be certified as surveyor, as accreditation specialist. So it's like a long journey over more than 20 years because I'm graduated in 1995. So I have been working as a medical doctor for 20 years. This is enough. Doing some conference speaking, so I'm a conference speaker, and also I'm organizing conference for the healthcare accreditation quality. So it's like big journey. Sometimes if you go and watch me and come linked with me on LinkedIn, so I'm sometimes writing articles like about corporate social responsibility, about quality, about healthcare. So it's like doing lots of bits and pieces here and there. And that's how I love. I'm totally in love with quality. I'm totally in love with corporate social responsibility. This is really what I like. So today we'll start by talking our framework. It's like we start to talk about the first half of the day. We'll talk about ethics, morals, and start by morals, and then ethics, and then business ethics, and why we should go with the business ethics. So it's a little bit about like theoretical, but you'll be amazed what the difference between the like moral and ethics, business ethics, and then we'll go to know how we can think ethically in any conflict or any situation, how to reach to the ethical approach. What is our ethical approach to reach to an ethical decision? And even how you can critique a decision in an ethical way. And then I'll introduce you to the corporate social responsibility. Then we'll finish the first part of the day, having lunch, having break, and then we'll go to the corporate social responsibility. I have been requested to put a big smile on my face, be active, more interactive. So I would like to be, so if any one of you would like to say, oh, we are tired, just tell me, I'm tired. So I'll try to make you much more active in this session. All right? So let's start by the morals, ethics, business ethics, and the difference between them. Yep. So, do you know what is moral? Do you know what is moral? Moral? Have you heard the word moral before? Moral? Moral is what you have learned, and it is innate in you. The voice of your conscience. The thing that tells you this is right and this is wrong. And morals for you is totally different from my morals. So whatever you can see is totally right. I can debate. I think it's not totally. We can negotiate. But you sure, you believe, you have been raised that this is totally right. And I have been raised that we can debate. So morals is the rule that govern you what is right and what is wrong. Is it important? Yes. Because this is what shapes you, shapes your thinking. Moral, don't lie. Be courage. Behave. Help others. This is what's in you. Love is forbidden. This is what you have been raised on. Love is allowed. That's what you have been raised on. So morals is what's innate in you. So what is totally right for you, maybe is different from what's totally right for me. But we can have some way in between. So what's moral? So it's a rule that governs how you see things and how you behave. Morals. So what is our school for morals? How it started? Where it started? Yes, in the childhood. And basically it comes from family. Yes, it starts from the family. Morals start from the family. Okay. Yes. Moral is the right and wrong from the personal perspective or from the community perspective. Morals. So your morals is different from my morals. What's from your side, your point of view, is totally right, can be different from what's my point of view, which can be debated. It's not totally right. All right? What you see right, I can see it wrong. And what I see it right, you can see it wrong. Because your moral is different from my moral. This is different from the standards. Moral. All right? You got it? You got it. Example, keep your promise. Maybe from my environment, from the way I have been raised, I didn't have the idea of like keeping my promise is important. All right? Maybe have patience. Maybe the culture from where I came is like makes me be always in hurry, always in competition. So you have been raised that you always keep patient, be patient. But for me, always be in a hurry, always be competitive. All right? So we are now in some way in debating. All right. Yeah, it comes to a little bit to your conscious. In Arabic, let's say it's اعتقادك الشخصي اللي تربيت عليه. Morals بالعربي اللي تربيت عليه. All right? المبادئ اللي تربيت عليها. All right? تمام? So for you, you have a moral norms and you have a moral values. And when we talk about values, I say it like patience, compassion, cooperation, respect. So this is a value you have been raised on. It's important. Yeah, you'll see it in business. It's totally important. In taking decision in the company based on your morals, it's totally important. To be morally responsible about an action that has been taken in your company, very important. To be the one in front of the media that you have been alleged that you know and you agree on what's wrong in your community, this is very important because this is against the moral of the community you live in. It's very important. We see the implication of morals in the coming few slides. So it starts basically from the childhood, at the major school of the family, and then your education, and then develop step by step in the university, at work, your experience, and your personal experience and behavior you gain day after day, and the way you develop yourself to enlarge and cultivate and adapt your own personal morals. All right? So it takes you like long journey to have like your own basic morals, which can be changed with the change of the community, which change in the place you live in, and the community and the culture you live in, because you adapt a new moral. You know, like if you start to live in the Middle East, and then you move like to the north in Europe or in America, so you have changed the culture, and then you develop a new morals. You might still keep yours, but surely it will have some modification. Surely, I promise you, it will have some modification. All right? So what is the moral responsibility? Moral responsibility means two things. Imagine you are going to do something that you personally know it's wrong from your moral perspective. You're going to lie. You're going to cheat. Now you will do something which like you're going to lie or you're going to cheat, and you do it willingly with no oppression, and you know it's morally wrong. Do you think you are morally responsible at this point? Yes, sure, because you know it's morally wrong and you freely do it. So to identify the moral responsibility, we have two major items: knowledge and ability. Your knowledge, it's wrong. Your knowledge, the consequences of the policy you're going to take will have a bad effect on the community, you know. So your knowledge is a basic and cornerstone of that you are morally responsible. And your ability to do it, you have the free ability to do the wrong. You know it's wrong, and you are going to do it freely, no oppression. So two major important things about being morally responsible or morally irresponsible. Your knowledge about it, about the consequences, and your ability for two things: to do it or to withdraw from the action that can prevent the harm.
This one meaning that I have to do something. I have to change this negative morale, right?
Yes. So, for example, I am in my company, and now I'm going to make a policy that making a discrimination in my workplace. I would make policy that make discrimination in my workplace, and I will sign it. I know it for me. If it comes to me, I don't like it. For me, it's against what I believe. So I know I'm going to do something which against my moral, and I will do it freely. So now I'm morally responsible? No. Yes, sure, because I know the consequences and I'm free to do it. Okay, I will request you. You are working in my team, so I will request you to do a bribe, Rashwa, to do a bribe with the consequences that the end of this bribe will have like a major good effect for us. So I'm requesting you do the bribe because we need it. So I am in the big position. I know the consequence. Bribe is forbidden from my point of view. So I know, and I freely want to do. So am I morally responsible now? Sure. I know it's bad. I know bribe is bad, and I'm doing it freely. So I have the knowledge it's bad, and I'm willing to do it freely, no oppression. You got it? Yeah, let's start by being morally responsible. So what are the two major concepts for being morally responsible? Knowledge and ability. Knowledge and ability. You know the consequences, you know it's bad, you know the consequences, and you do it, so you are more responsible. You are freely do it, you are more responsible. Or vice versa. There is something bad is going to happen. There is something bad is going to happen. I know that the consequences of this thing is bad. And I have the ability to prevent these consequences. Some of my friends is going to abuse other friend. All right? So I know the abuse from my moral is wrong. And I know he's going to abuse a friend. I can prevent this abuse. So if I left him to abuse the friend, and I have the ability to prevent this abuse, so now I am morally responsible because I know the consequences and I have the ability to prevent the consequences. So it's either I do it or I have the power and knowledge to prevent the event from happening. You got it? So in that way, you are morally responsible. This we'll discuss it, and this what we'll have in your case study. The moral responsibility. I put you one question in your case study to debate the moral responsibility of the CEO of your case study. So I need to hear from you, to see from your writing, that you debate on this major two concerns, the knowledge and the ability of the CEO, right? To prevent it. Yes, that you are morally responsible. Khalas, you did it. You did what from your own side.
What about if I perform an abuse, however, I don't know?
You don't know. So you don't know that's abuse?
Yes.
Okay, so this is, you don't know. So you don't have the ability. So, yes, unintentionally. All right. What you will do if you, let's go beyond this one. So when you are morally irresponsible, when you are morally irresponsible, when you don't have the knowledge or don't have the power, the ability, exactly. So you are totally morally irresponsible for an action that happened in your company, that happened in your society, that happened in your community, when you don't know the consequences or don't know about the event, or you don't have the ability to prevent it. Okay? So when you are morally totally irresponsible, when you don't know or you don't have the ability.
This one meaning that if I know I haven't the ability to change this one, meaning that you are not.
Yes, here we come to the in-between, the mitigation factors. Mitigation factor is something like in-between, all right? Something like you relatively have a moral responsibility, but because of this mitigating factor, all right? Factor that can support you for a while. What are these mitigating factors? You might are in doubt. You might be in doubt. You don't know exactly how big is the consequences of the decision you are going to take. You don't know exactly how bad it is to make the decision or take the action. You don't know exactly. You didn't have the full idea, the full picture about your decision or your action. You're still in doubt. So this puts you like in between morally responsible and morally irresponsible. Or you will be subjected to stress or to duress or a threat. Like your boss said, you do it or you are fired. Do it or you are fired. You know, like the common scene in the movie where like they keep your family and say, okay, do it or they'll kill them. So this is like you have a threat. So you do the bad thing, otherwise they will kill the family, the common scene in the movie. So this is like, you are the mitigating factor here. You are exposed to a threat and duress and pressure and oppression. Okay? And thirdly, you don't have the power to change or to prevent. You know the consequences. Like, you know that in Department of Marketing, you do lots of things bad. But you are in the HR. What can you do? You don't have the influence to change this. So you are still in the mitigating factor. Okay? So now you know the moral responsibility. Again, what's moral? This is what's innate in you. What's right and wrong from your own perspective. How you are morally responsible? If you have the knowledge and you have the good morning, good morning. If you have the knowledge and you have the ability. And when you are morally irresponsible, if you don't have the knowledge or don't have the power, the ability. Otherwise, there is a mitigation factor that makes you in the gray zone, which is you don't have the full picture, you are in doubt of the full information about the situation, or you are exposed to stress, to threat, duress, or otherwise you don't have the ability at all to change. You know the consequence, but you're so far from the situation. Okay? So this is the morals and moral responsibility. Yeah, inability here, it's like totally you are immorally responsible. Okay? But you have the ability here.
Like I'm in HR and they are marketing making something wrong. I don't have ability.
Yeah, so that's why you are in the gray zone. So when you do something good, you know, like today you take a decision that makes your people, your group, your team, your family happy. How do you feel? Yes, I make something good today. Imagine you saved the life of a person. Imagine you are the witness for something that makes difference in your community. Imagine this something very good. You feel praised. Yes, I did it. I'm good. Imagine the reverse. Today you are part of a bribe. Today you help other people to do something to cheat. How do you feel? Bad. So this is how you feel if you do something like morally and if you do something like bad immorally. So it's either praise or blame. This is the common feelings that you feel if you do the morally right or morally wrong. Okay? This will help you. We finish with the moral. What's right, totally right, and what is totally wrong, because this is what I have been raised on. Cheat is wrong. Lying is wrong. Of course. See, of course. This is what I have been raised on. Cheat is okay. It helps. Why not? Ethical. So this is how we have been raised on. This is moral. All right? So we come to the standards. Standards is something that we all should share. Morals, this is your own. The community you own. The culture of the behavior, the culture of the company, this the value of the company. But the standards is something we all share it. Standards is something we all share it. When you go to your work, you have like code of ethics or the standards, right? You have, yes. So that we have all to share. But what we have all to share in our company, we have people coming from the far east and far west and north and south and middle. How can we have like a common area? It's the standards. So because it's a balance between what's truly good and what's bad. It's the balance. So the standards, group of the standards, it's a balance of what's totally right and totally wrong. It's a balance. So that's how we can live together. Okay? Now, let's go for the ethics. Ethics and the ethical standards, as I said, it's a balance. And when we talk about the ethics, ethics is something that refers to the rights of the people and obligation against the people. Right? This is your right to do 1, 2, 3, 4. And you are obliged to refrain not to do 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have an ethical standard that it's good if you do 1 and do 2 and do 3. You help, you cooperate, you be part of, and you join, and you be compassion, and so on. And you are refrain from doing bribe, from cheating, from abusing, and so on, and so on, and so on. All right? So the standards and ethical standards, it's a balance between the good and bad of doing and obligation to prevent from doing some things. Okay? So when you do the right thing, you do something benefit to the society, you do fairness, you follow the value. And when you are obliged from doing something, like from bribe, from stealing, from telling the untruth, for assaulting, for doing fraud. And what I like most, what I do like most about the ethical standards is this quotation that ethics is very human and social in nature. It's something we invented to help us live together in the community. So ethics is something that's human in nature. We make it to live together in the community. Because if you have your own morals and I have my own morals, we'll have a conflict. Yes. But when you have the ethics in between, so it's something like we can cooperate together, we can live together. So it's social in nature, it's human in nature to live together.
Can we say that ethics part of morals?
Sure, because ethics have morals. Have your own morals and my own morals. Yeah, it's a collection.
The one we agree together.
Yes, we agree together to live together. So we agree on the respect of each other. Whoever am I and whoever you are. You know what? I'll give you a story. I'll give you a good story about this one, the ethics of living together. Ethics of living together. This is my own personal story. One day I was in the UK and a friend of mine, she was German. And in one of our talking, I said, I hate this person. This person in the front office, I hate him. I don't know how to deal with him. I don't know actually why he is here. He shouldn't be here. He is a gay. She said, Abdullah, do you know how we look at you? You are come from the Middle East. You are Muslim. This is how we look at you. But we are so friends together. But this is the ethics to live together. For a person like this person to deal with a person like me in the community to live in peace. So people have the ethics to live together, to accept each other.
So maybe this ethics opposite to my beliefs?
Yes, you are against what he's doing,
Yeah.
and he is against what you are. But because we have like the code of ethics to live together in peace, all right, so like we live together. So we adapt a code of ethics in the culture of the company where we are to live together. All right? So that, as I said, it's human in nature. It's social in nature. To adapt both of us, where you come from and from where I came from.
But anyway, moral or ethics, it have to be not opposite to the natural and the community. It will be not harm.
No, it's midway. In midway to make a good community.
Yeah.
It's a point of midway.
No.
To have a good community.
Is it possible to be ethics, for example, when something's wrong inside the company and all of us agree about it?
No. This is not ethical. Not sure, 100%. So ethics is like how we live together. Okay? How to do the right thing from the both side of you. So we do something that we both agree on it, on a moral way. So we have like something in between. We come together. Business in ethics. Now we talk theoretically morals. moral responsibility, human ethics. What about ethics, business ethics? Why we should have a business ethics? Nowadays, every step in the world, every step a big company is taking is watched. Whatever you are doing, the decision you are taking, especially if you are like multinational company or a global company or even a small company, I'm telling you, you are watched. So business need business ethics, because if you are doing good, the people will praise you. And if you are doing bad, you will be under the focus of the people and your community. You are watched. So we need the business and business ethics. We also need the business ethics when we start to address some of the business function, like making a policy. As I said, now I will sign on a policy that I know it's like it will have a discrimination. So if I do this, the world will know that Abdullah Ibrahim agreed on a policy that violates the rights of this group of people. All right? So I have to address this. When I do the policy, I have to make sure that I'm following the ethics and morality. In institutions and constitutions, when you like in the court now, they are making tashri'at, for example. They have to do the tashri'at, okay, according to the ethics, the current ethics and morality. And also, in the behavior that we adopt in our company. So we need to have an ethical background that can prevent the abuse between our staff. Also, we can adopt and implement ethics in some certain business function. Accounting, finance. Imagine you have an accounting and finance, and there is a lot of like bribe, stealing, cheating, and you adopt this in your company. So we need like a business ethics to guide against this behavior, to prevent this behavior. You need the laws, you need the standards to make sure what we are doing is right, and we agree to do only the right. And whatever is not right is not our responsibility. Our company have its own ethics that see this as wrong, and having policy that makes sure we do the right. You have audit. You have a policy of making audit. You have a third-party audit. In my company, I have the policy that I will do third-party audit every year to make sure that my finance and accounting is going properly. It's third-party. So I'm adopting a policy to be transparent to the community and to the shareholders. So I'm taking my rule to have like a business, an ethical business. What about marketing? Lots of the good things happen in marketing, and lots of the not good things happen in marketing. So nowadays, that's like, for example, the pharmaceutical companies doing. Now they're adopting a new strategy in marketing. In the past, they invite doctors and family to attend sessions in overseas. It was a package. Now, no, now they are prevented from doing this. The new policy for the companies, it's only doctor, to have only the scientific idea about the product, theoretically, but this is like a change in the policy of the company that make major marketing. Okay? And so on. So why we need business ethics in business? Why we need it? What do you think? Why we need business ethics? They said business is like a dirty enterprise. People are great to have more and more money. So we need something to hold it down. We need a policing body in the company to prevent abuse and overuse and the major ambition of the stakeholders from making more and more money at the cost of other negative things. So we need the business ethics as a policing inside our company to hold it down, to make the right thing right, to avoid making the bad things to make much more money. So that's why we need the business as a policing. But what if you are doing right? You are doing everything ethically. You are following the business ethics and standards. Why I'm following this? Because you might have some people in the community or your competitors in and out the company and out the country who can sue you for something fake. And that way you say, no, I have my own ethics. I'm good. I'm following this. I have my backbone. I'm protected. That's how some people hire what's known as business ethicists. Have you seen this before? Business ethicists. Business ethicists. You know who are these business ethicists? Those are the group of people who develop and work and make sure business standards and ethics is implemented. So those are the group of scientist people, group of like their background and their profession is to do the business ethics. So you might have a good work and your competitor claim that you are doing negative to the community. You're having this in your company. So you say, no, I'm following my policy. I have a policy, you can see. I have my rules. I have my own values. I'm teaching my staff on the values. I have offices, I have outlets in my company that allow the communication. So when you have this in your company, so you are protected. So that's why we need business ethics. In one hand, we need the business ethics as an policing, something to watch us, to prevent us from the overuse, overdoing negative, over pushy. And on the other hand, as a defender, a backbone, something to protect us against some people who would like to come and like take us down.
Legal department.
Yes, maybe you have your legal department who can like stand and say, no, I'm doing well. Okay? That's why we need business ethics. Is it clear? Good. Let's go for the importance of having business ethics. Number one, as an importance, is have an ethical motivation. Yes. Let's say we are in our company and then we'll adopt a group of values, goes with the moral, like compassion, cooperation, prevent abuse, good customer service, no cheating, honesty, integrity. So when you have this in our company, so we are motivating the people to do the good things in and out of the company. So it's like a motivation, right? Number two is balance the need of wishes of the stakeholder. Yes, as I said before, the shareholders put some money and they need lots of the benefits, right? So they are requesting and urge us to do and have lots of revenue. But when you have the ethics and we have the value, we tell them no, we are doing our best, but at the same time we are following values. We cannot violate our values to generate more and more money. So it's making us have a balance in our business. Number three is like a global changes. Imagine, do you know, for example, the global labor law, for example. Now in our company, let's say in our company, we are requesting our staff to work 8 hours per day and then 5 to 6 or 7 hours extra time. And it's not extra time, it's included. So if you go for the security companies allow their staff to work 12 hours every day. And this is with the minimum payment. This is against the global labor law. So we can be sued for having this kind of behavior in our company. So to have the global change, because nowadays we are faced with the global labor law, so we need to go with strictly with what's requested, like maximum 8 hours, per day and over 4 hours as an overtime. So you should count this an overtime. So we should have the policy and should change our policy in company to follow the global challenges. Okay? We are doing bad to our community by disposing lots of chemical to the river. We are allowing this. But when we have a policy in the place to do it in the right way, so it protects us. Because globally now all people are concerned with the environment and with the clean water, for example. Okay? All right? So it's another motivation because nowadays we are faced with the global challenges. Ethical payoff, as I said before, if you establish ethical standards in your place, thank you. If we establish ethical standards in our place, so we are defeating anything bad that can be done. As I said, if I don't have the laws to prevent bribe and from the stealing in our company, so that means that I'm allowing this. But I put the policy that this is forbidden in our company. By doing this, I'm doing a payoff. But if someone else do it, I have the policy that this is forbidden, this is not allowed, this is not adopted in our company, and someone else do it. So at least I have something to tell thee, so it happened. The first one to prevent it from happening. The second one, it happened. So I can, when I have the, in the court I said, no, in our company we don't allow this. So this is like a personal behavior. It's not a company behavior, it's a personal behavior. Number 3, if there is abuse in your company and you have the policy that you are listening and you have the value that the leadership is open to the staff, the leadership is open to staff to any communication to talk about whatever problem they have. So you are preventing the civil suits. Like people can go out, they are frustrated from the behavior in the company and there is no place to communicate the frustration. So they go out like to the media, for example, and talk, okay, and make you too much exposed. But when you have the ethics of like adopting this, talk to this, evaporate about it, having solution for the problems. So it will prevent the civil lawsuits. Ethics payoff, now you don't have code of standards, okay? You don't have any ethical guide in your company, all right? And you didn't say that we don't allow or we don't accommodate abuse in our company, okay? And now there is one event of abuse, all right? So in that case, the accused person can show you that you adapt the abuse in your company, but if you have this the documented references, so at least you say, no, I have this and I communicate this to my staff, and this happens because of personal behavior, not company culture. You understand it?
And the personal behavior,
You know the company culture. Because the company culture reject this according to the policy that we have, according to the code of conduct. Yes, a guide prevent this. Yes, basically the guide prevent this. And then we come to the, when it happened already. So we can't have measures to prevent it from happening, or when it happens, so you have something to defend against you. So the first thing, to prevent it from happening. If it happened, you have something to protect you. And thirdly, if it happened, but you still have something, you have a policy to allow the communication. You have a place in your company for the people to come and talk about any problem that happened and to solve it. By doing this, you prevent the civil lawsuits or claims, civil claims. So it's like 3 steps. 3 steps.
And this code you have it in your company, maybe it's not approved as the outside. Who approves it?
Yeah.
You can put any code of ethics you want in your company. It could be not ethical to others outside.
But this is the first step. You have the code of ethics. At least for the healthcare, for example, we have the code of ethics. We cannot operate, you cannot start your operation, you cannot have the license without having code of ethics from the beginning.
But it's not my code. It should come from someone else and you adopt it.
But this is the first step. The first step, you have the basic, like the cornerstone or the cornerstone. You start by having something, and then you develop step by step. And if you and your company having good values and people are happy, people feeling that they are proud that I'm working in this company. I'm proud that I'm working in a company that's known for the good reputation of having these values, this good value. So it'll keep me in the company. So I do like employee retention, right? And again, market leadership. Market leadership and setting example, it looks like each other. You know what? Did you hear about the body shop? What's amazing about the body shop? You know body shop? Yeah. What's amazing about the product of the body shop? Quality? No, the British lady who started the body shop, she is so keen and she's one of the people who protect animal worldwide. Yes, no, she's the one who protect the environment and especially the animal life worldwide. So if you buy any product from the world shop, from the body shop, you will find this product is not tested on animal. So nothing of its product has been tested on animal. They think and they believe that animal is there not to be like a test model, all right? Yes, not to be like a experimental tool in our life. There has their own value. So by adopting this value, they have a good market leadership from this perspective. So they have the value that they implemented and work to develop it and communicate it to the people. That's how they have a market leadership in that. And also setting the example, especially when the market, imagine that the market is going down. Market is going down. And I'm the one who believe that in the good life for the animal. I'm going to buy now some of the products I need for my a body lotion. I will go for the body shop or other companies. Surely I will go with the company that's follow my values. So I go with the body shop, all right? So how you start and do a business ethics? First, how you start and do and take a business ethical model. First, list down your values. List down the company value. Write your company value. And then start to focus and collect information about the issue you are going to work on. Let's have an example. Give me an example. You would like to do something in your company. You would like to start something in your company. Just give me an example. Okay, green world in pharmaceutical company, for example. Okay, so what are the value that this pharmaceutical company having?
The product should be organic.
Okay.
Nothing is chemical.
No, value. Value is like 1 or 2 words. Value. Integrity, yes. So what I believe in, I'm doing and I'm practicing. Integrity is a value. Okay. What else? Excellence, yes. Having an excellence in behavior and in products. So this is another value. Give me another value. Respect. Yes, respect is another value. Yes, attitude, yeah, and respect. Yes. Transparency, yes. Okay, so let's have transparency, respect, and excellence. Okay, now we need to make a product that respect the customer or the environmental system, the ecosystem, as you said, the green world. Okay, so we need to take a decision. We take a policy that when we start to manufacture this product, we should follow the environmental code of conduct in developing this product, and we'll communicate our manufacturing process to the world to make sure that we are transparent, we are eco-friendly, and we are doing excellence as well. So this is how I make my decision. I have some values, so I'm taking action about something which is like manufacturing organic, yes, reflecting my values in my product. Again, let's say you are working in the HR, and you need to make a new policy. Okay? Give me some value you have in your company. Who is working in the HR? No one. Okay. Just give me example. Okay. Let's say quality means like performance.
Performance.
Okay.
And his character. The character.
Respect. Okay. So the value that we have in our company is honesty, respect, and performance. So now I'm going to make a policy in my company. So I'm making policy in recruitment. So in my policy for recruitment, I will say, we are going to recruit individuals to work in our company that show respect, performance, and high performance and honesty. So anyone not following these rules and value will not hire. So when you have someone, he has a background of bribe or theft, so this is against the policy. So yes, so this is not ethical, because this is against the policy. You adopt the policy based on your value. So you took the action of developing the policy based on your value. And the value is good things, right? You got it? So this is how, okay, now you'll go back to your company and you go back to the list of the values. You know that like in every company, you have like a big poster everywhere in the company. Values, and then list of good things. And then when you go for the behavior of the people working in this company, nothing is reflected. Is it true? Have you been faced with this? Is it true? Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, is it true? Have you seen this? Have you experienced this before? Did you? Did you experience this? Okay, like here, let's say values, okay? 1, compassion. 2, respect. Okay? 2, respect. Okay, go to any governmental office. Go to any customer service office and see, does the person or do the people in the front office have a compassion and respect? So that's what you need to do to have a ethical business. So you have to develop a new way, a new process to reflect your value in the daily work of your staff. In that way, you have an ethical business. Because whatever value you have is not reflected in the staff behavior. Okay, let's go for honesty. Now we have a tender, and you request your staff to do the bribe to have the tender. All right? Is it ethical business? Honesty in the value. Do the bribe. Is it right? No. So you have to take the action and have the policy and process and tools in your company to prevent bribe from happening whatsoever. For example, you have a second-party audit. You have many steps before taking the action. We call it sometimes redundancy. You know, you're like, this is a bureaucratic way. No, it's not too much bureaucratic. Sometimes like observational way in the first step and second step, how we are going to take the decision. If you are one single person who will take the decision, you might be exposed to a bribe. You are a human being. But if you have a second party to watch you before taking the decision, so this is a tool, this is a mechanism that the company is taking to prevent bribe from happening from the first exposure. It looks like a redundancy, in place, but it's a tool to prevent the bribe from happening. But it might have the bribe to happen in the second party, but this is like something we do. We cannot do good every time, all the time. But we are making our best to have like an ethical approach to do this. Okay? So, if you want to do a business ethics, if you want to modify your business, if you want to reshape your business to be like much more ethical business, go back, check your value. By the way, do you have value from the beginning? Does your company have value? Did you visit the value? Do you know your value, the value of your company? Can you enumerate 5? Can you reflect 5 in your daily behavior and work? So this is how you can start. Okay, so we have like a list of our values, and then we collect information on the action that we are going to do. We're going to take a decision. Good. In our values, it's teamwork. In our values, it's teamwork. So I'll take the decision myself. Okay? So you need to visit your values. You need to visit your policy, process, standards, manuals. Okay? You need to visit your daily process. You need to visit and address your teamwork, your department work every day. And then you change this and you adopt the value and you communicate the value. This is how you can start. This is just how you can start. Only start a business, an ethical business. Okay? Question. Yes, that's how we sometimes, for the people who are taking ISO, for the people who are taking accreditation, so you have a surveyor coming from outside, and they make sure that you have value, and your value is communicated and implemented, and they have this written in their report, a recommendation report. So they make sure that you have, from the beginning, you're having value, you communicate the value to your staff, and then the value is implemented on the real life and day-to-day work activities. Okay? So, this is how you can say, I have and argue a business ethics. And also, this is how you can disargue against any decision. Like if you see a decision, imagine now you are in the meeting. Now you are in the meeting, the board meeting. Okay? You are a member of a group that they are going to take a decision. And they are going to take a decision and say, that's good, this is a good decision. You can argue, no, this is not a proper value that we have to adopt. This is a wrong information that we collect. So the building of the decision is not proper and not ethical. So this is how you can argue any decision. Go for the value, go for the background information, and go for the decision. Okay? All right. So by this, we end the first, this is up. We have 2 types, say this, because I will take you to the real life. We have 2 types of business ethics. Normative ethics and descriptive ethics. Normative ethics is what I have talked about. What is this? Like the theoretical. What should be done? What ideally should be implemented in life, in business. Normative ethics. Descriptive ethics, actually what's going on. What's done. Again, we have 2 types of business ethics. Normative ethics and descriptive ethics. Normative, what should be done. The ideal, what should we follow. So we prescribed as the normative ethics. That's what we are looking for to achieve. Descriptive ethics, now I'm describing the current ethical situation. So this is the descriptive ethics.
It's like the vision and the mission.
No. This is like what I want you to do, normative ethics. But what's going on already, this is the current situation of the descriptive ethics going on. It's actual. Yeah, no, what I'm looking for, what I expect, what I need from you to do, normative ethics. I need you to have a list of values, communicate the values, implement the values. That's what I'm looking for. But actually what's going on, this is our current situation.
You can say it's a vision of the...
No vision, this is not vision. Your vision of implementing, yes. Yeah, and now you are in the current situation. Okay, so we end the first presentation about morals, moral responsibility, ethics, business ethics, and the importance of having business ethics, why business ethics is good, and how you can start to adapt an ethical business. Any question? Any question? Yes, please.
I'm working in a pharmaceutical company.
Yes, please.
We have developed our own ethics.
Yes.
The main purpose was to be matching with the regulation.
Yes.
So can you just highlight the relation between the ethics and the law or the regulation?
Yes. So basically what you have done this.
No, I mean, who should be first, the ethics or the regulation or the law?
No. First, you have your values. Okay? You have your own values. And from the value, you develop you did what? Sorry?
Our own ethics and
Regulations.
code of
Code of ethics. So you review your value, you enlist your value, and then you start to write the code of ethics. And every step you try to adopt one value. For you request them to do this, because when doing this, you are following this value. You request them to avoid doing this, because by avoiding doing this, you are achieving this value. So in each point, you try to address a value. That's why you have it.
So no, I mean regulation from the FDA or whatever.
Oh,
So do
the regulation, this is what you have to do. And
should
this,
the ethics be first before the regulation or after?
no, doing the regulation, doing the code of ethics is itself is an ethical act. Adopting this one is an ethical act. Communicate it to the staff, because you might have it and put it in the drawer. But if you communicate it, first you have it, then you communicate it, then you implement it, then you watch it. So it's like many steps you do to make sure you have an ethical business.
It's like a chain reaction.
A chain, yes, a chain of work, yeah. Okay?
Now the code of ethics, code of ethics for companies, isn't it a step for reacting for the laws, ethics laws?
Yes, yes. You are complying with the law. Complying with the law in itself is an ethical aspect, yes.
Step action.
Yes, it is, sure. But you need to make sure what you have written is going with your values. What you have written is good, not bad. Okay? So the second presentation will be about the approach to ethical thinking. I will tell you about the different schools of taking ethical decision. How you can defend that you are taking an ethical decision. What are the questions that you are going to ask, and what are the type of answers that you are expecting to take the decision? You are in conflict, and you need to know, I'm doing right or I'm doing wrong. If this is the right decision or the other decision is right, which one to take? And what is the basis of my decision? So this is what I'm going to introduce to you now, the approach to ethical thinking. So we'll be faced with 5 different schools or 5 different approaches. The first one called utilitarian. The first one called utilitarian. You know the utility? You know the utility? Utility. So it's the utilitarian. It takes 5 months for me to pronounce it like this. So it's utilitarian, and when you do it, so it's utilitarianism. This is the 6 months. So the first approach is utilitarian approach. The second approach, we call it the right approach. Third approach, we call it fairness. And then common good, and finally, the virtue approach. what are these? What are these? What are these? This is like too much theoretical. No, this is your day-to-day action. This is your day-to-day behavior. This is how you do every day based on these approaches. But you don't know that these are approaches. Every day you're taking a decision. Should I go home or should I go to do this? Should I buy this or buy that? Should I support my kid or should I be with my older son? Should I defend my friend or should I be with the company? I'm going to take a decision, but this decision will affect lots of people. Should I do it or shouldn't I do it? So every day you are doing something, so you have an approach every day to take an ethical decision, even the minor decisions, but you have your own approach. Today I'm exposing you to the different approaches to know that, oh, I'm doing this because this is my own approach now. I'm doing this because I'm following this. All right? So, because every day we have a new dilemma, and every day when you switch on the TV, you find like something that you don't agree on. For example, like foreign policy in some countries, or you feel like you see lots of homeless people, or like immigrant people. They have nothing to do, just they become an immigrant, all right? Or some people, now they are homeless. What is this? Why they are doing this? This is right or wrong? What should we do with them? And you see like now the new development and technology, especially working on the human being. This is right or wrong? What is the basis of their decisions? We need to know how the people agree to do this. I want the concept behind this. So there is a lot of approaches people are implementing to taking the right decision based on an ethical approach, ethical value, ethical school. Okay? So let's go for the first one. The first one, we call it utilitarian approach. Starting in the 19th century, they start to make legislation, تشريعات, laws, قوانين, start to do this. But now when they start to do the legislations and law and institutions, they need to know which one to adopt. Now they have two laws. Law with the people and law against the people. Law from one point and law from the different point. But these are like controversial laws. Which one to adopt? At that time, in the 19th century, especially in the US, they refer to two main philosophers, which is like Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill. And those two people say that, okay, we'll do something that will feel it had the greatest effect, the greatest benefit to the greatest number of people. So when you do legislations, you have to adopt, when you do legislation, when you do a law, you emphasize a law, so select the law, select the legislation, تشريعات, that having the major good for the major number of people. Having doing so, you are following the utilitarian approach. So when you have many choices, and you need to take only one choice, select only one choice. If you are going to go with the utilitarian approach, you select the choice that have the greatest benefit to the greatest number of people.
Application of democracy.
For example, all right? So by doing this, you are adopting the utilitarian approach. But what about the other people? So it has like lots of good effect to lots of good people. What have the minimum people? What about their rights? Okay, let's say, for example, we'll adopt a law that will allow large number of people to have certain service, and there is low number of people who will not be allowed to have the same service. By adopting such approach, such law, so this is going with the utilitarian approach. But actually, when you take this decision, now I said we have many decisions, right? What's the first thing? You identify each decision. You identify decision number 1 and its consequences. Decision number 2 and its consequences. Good and bad. Consequences of good and consequences of bad. Good on how many people, bad on how many people. The second one, good on how many people, bad on how many people. So I have the many choices, measure how good it is, how bad it is. And then the one I select to have a utilitarian approach, the one which had the major effect, good effect, measure good on the major number of people. This is the ethical approach, the ethical decision from the utilitarian approach. But we have two things. We have something called utilitarian act once only and utilitarian rule. I repeat it many times. Again, this approach هذه الطريقة التي تبعناها ممكن نتبعها مرة واحدة. It's utilitarian act. I did it only once. I will do it once and that's it. I will not repeat it again. This approach, I will do it only in this situation. Or I will take the same way to take my decision every time. So it will be a utilitarian rule. It will be my future rule to do the same. I will do the same action again and again and again. Because by doing the same action again and again and again, I have the major benefit for the major number of people. All right? Confusing, I know. And I give you the example, you will know. So, my dear sisters, dear brothers, what's utilitarian act? Choosing the decision that has the high impact for the high number of people. All right? Okay. What about bribe? I'm requesting you to accept my bribe because if you do this, I will not close my firm. For example, my firm is going down and I need to save my firm. And this tender is crucial for me. And I want to do the bribe to have the tender to survive. By doing this, I have the benefit for the greatest number of people of my company. We are in the exam. I will allow you to cheat because if you cheat, I'll have the greatest benefit for the greatest number of people in the exam hall. So my decision will be allow you to cheat. Can apply? Can apply. So in that way, which one you will take? Confusing? What's utilitarian approach? Taking the decision that have the greatest impact for the greatest number of people. In the exam, if I allow you to cheat, so it has the greatest benefit, all of you will success. For the greatest number of people, for the students. Should I do this? Against ethics. So the utilitarian approach has a concern, another point of view. So actually, in some situation, when you have the utilitarian act, you will do it once. There are some critical, life-saving situation that you can imply this rule, this type of decision-taking, because it has the major effect for the major number of people for certain situation. So this is, you take the utilitarian approach, utilitarian act. But in our example, allow you to cheat. Imagine I will allow you to cheat today. And for the next exam, I will allow you to cheat again. Not you, another group, and then another group. The outcome of allowing you to repeat the same action, I will have a community where there is no one succeed by his own. I allow cheating in the community. I have no one to rely on. Imagine those are a group of teachers, a group of doctors in the exam halls. So in the future, I will have low informative doctors and teachers. I cannot trust them. I will have negative feedback on my community. Correct? So I shouldn't do this. because the consequence of this approach, at the end, it will have a very negative effect on the large number of people. You got it? You got it? Did you got it? Did you got it? If I allow bribe, and I do it and do it, so what I adopt in the community is like culture of bribe. No honesty, no integrity, no fairness, corruption, right? So when you start to take the decision, you take the right decision. The common example, the very famous one, imagine, and go with the scenario. Don't go away from the scenario, please. Imagine, this is the scenario, only the scenario. Imagine you are the driver of the train and you go on your way. In this area, there's only 2 kids play in the area where it's safe. It's safe. And their parent told them that this is a safe zone you can play on. This is a safe zone you can play on. And on the other zone, there is 5 to 10 kids play. But this is the dangerous zone, and they are playing on. You are driving a coach, let's say, or a car or a bus, and you are going to this zone quickly and fast. And now you have the choice. Are you going to hit the 10 kids and be like the responsible for the major disaster of like injury and death of 10 kids? Or should you go for the 2 kids and hit them and like killing them? But remember, these 2 kids go with the discipline. The discipline, this is the safe zone. Their parent invest in them and taught them, play in the safe zone. Do the right thing. Those kids didn't obey the discipline. And maybe the parent didn't give them any instruction. So which one you are going to do? And again, what if you, as a driver, have the same situation again? So this is the dilemma of having the utilitarian act and utilitarian approach. It's debatable. But you need to know exactly, you need to take the decision that has the highest benefit for the highest number of people. If you adopt killing the 2 kids, so you are telling the people who invest in their kids and teach them the right thing, don't do this again. Go and ignore the kids and let them play in the unsafe zone, because this is a safe zone. You got it? So from now onward, when you are going to take a decision, remember, this is another question in your case study, by the way, I think, as I remember. Okay? What about the difference between utilitarian act and utilitarian rule? No, the old one. No, not for you. Anyway, so utilitarian act and utilitarian rule. Now you know when to take the utilitarian act. When you have one single situation, you need to take a decision. And this decision has a major impact, major benefit for a major number of people. But if you are going to repeat the same act in the future, by repeating this act in the future, you will have a magnificent negative impact for the magnificent number of people, so don't do it. You got it? The bribe, the cheating. Okay? HR company, okay. You are going to hire someone who is not fit for the position, but he is related to you. By doing this, you have like a happiness for the full family, especially you, and have the greatest benefit for the family, and no effect on the company. The company needs someone to do the work, right? But if you adopt this approach, by the end of the day, in this company, we'll have a lot of relatives, inefficient, unskilled, uninformed staff working in the company. So the effect, by repeating the same approach, making like a utilitarian rule, you will have inefficient staff working in the company, which have a very negative effect on the company, may lead to a disaster at the end. All right? Okay? Got it? Utilitarian approach. Act once, rule repeatedly, you will do the same. I will give you example. Some example, nice example.
Utilitarian.
Yes. Now let's say like we'll make a policy for our sisters when they have new baby, so we'll give them like a maternity leave for 4 months. By doing this, we are having a shortage in our place for 4 months. We'll have like expenses by overtime for 4 months. Should I do this? Yes, because if we repeat the same, at the end of the day, later on, we have a good community. We have a good relation in the family between kids and family. We have healthy kids. We have healthy family. So by adopting this approach, which it seems like at the beginning for each individual company is a cost for the company and for the government, but at the end of the day, later on in the future, have a magnificent good effect for the community. Imagine if we are in like a final game, and it's like Djibouti against China, and the match in China, and now it's the final moment, and there is a doubtful, not through a penalty, for example. Should the referee do it to make the people of the China like happy? Billion people, 1 billion or more. If you do this, the Chinese will be happy. The Djibouti people like 10,000. No, because if we repeat the same action on and on and on, make the people of the big company, of the big total population, large total population happy, this will not be a fair game. It will be again in the fair game. So we cannot do this. We should be fair from the beginning. Even if it seems that doing this at the moment doesn't have the major effect and major benefits for the major number of people. But only if we repeat this bad thing, this action, it have a very negative effect on the community, on the business, on the people in the future. You got the difference between utilitarian act and adopting the same behavior many times. So you have to calculate it thoroughly, take time, think about it, measure the future impact. Can you imagine one action, one decision you take before in your company, in your life? Okay, think about it. So this is the first approach. What's the name of the approach? No, I gave you 10 minutes. What's the name of the approach? It's 10 minutes. What's the name of the approach? Utilitarian approach. Please, utilitarian approach. The second approach is the right approach. الحقوق. This is my right. It started in the 18th century by the famous Immanuel Kant, that everyone, by its human being, human nature, has the right for many things. We have the right for plenty of things. We have the right to live, to be respected, to be treated well. We have the right for information privacy. We have the right not to be harmed. Even in the contract between me and you, we have the right to what's dealt on, what we have contract on. This is our right, right? It's our right. So equity, yeah. So this is the right approach. Like humans are not subject. It's not like a subject we deal with. Human has rights. So when we take a decision at our personal level, or at a company level, or at the governmental level, or at a country level, or at a universal level, we need to consider the right of the people. So taking the decision of going to some action, major action, which will have like a very negative impact on the large number of people. So we have to respect this. They have the right. We have to take the ethical decision. We have to measure the impact of our decision before we take it, because people are not subject. We should count them, put them in our mind before taking the decision, because they have the right to live, they have the right for privacy, they have the right to be respected, not to be harmed, not to be killed, not to be homeless. People have the right not to be abused. And how can I go the approach? You remember the utilitarian approach? I see the many decisions, which one have the major effect for the major number of people, which one have the little, and then I take the large number, okay? Large number benefit, large number of people, utilitarian. For the right approach, yes, at first, I have many choices, right? I need to make a decision between choices. So the first thing I do, what should I do? The first thing I do, I see, does this decision that I'm going to take will violate the rights of those people in terms of privacy, security, personality, income, dignity, whatsoever? And what about the other choice? The one that have the good impact on the right is a good one. The one, the choice that will have a very negative impact on the right of the people, we should ignore it. So when I take a decision, considering the right approach, I have to measure the impact of my decision on the right of the people. For example, now I'm going to have a decision that I have a policy, I will have access for every email in the company. And I'll have access for every hard disk and every PC in the company. So this is a policy I'm going to do. So is this an ethical decision? So we are violating the personal privacy.
Yeah, but it's population. If people notified that their emails will be scanned, their files will be scanned too.
Be informed.
Yeah.
Be informed. If they are being informed, and this PC is for the work and only the work and nothing about personal, so now they have to follow the rule of conduct in the company. But if you are going to do this without telling them that you are going to do this, so this is against the personal privacy. If you are going to do or to issue or take a decision that do a discrimination, like you will give the men or the women more than the other. So we give one group a higher salary than the other group. So this is right? You're saying this is the right decision? No. This is discrimination, so you allow discrimination. So this against your right as a human being that we should be equal in the same position. You work in my office, and I'm working in your office, the same office. You do the same work as I'm doing. You work 8 hours, I'm working 8 hours. So why you should have different prices, different salary, all right? Sorry? If it is different, if we are dealing based on the productivity, this is different. But if we are dealing as a salary per month, so there is no difference. So you have to take the decision from the right approach, okay? Now how many approaches? 2. Utilitarian approach and right approach. The third approach, fairness. Fairness approach, justice approach. Actually, this is what you see every day. That's what you see is violated every day. Fairness approach, just approach. What is this? You know, start with the ancient Greek major philosophers, Aristotle, who say one thing which I do really love. and adopt. He said, listen to this. It's nice, really nice. All equals should be treated equally, and unequal, unequally. Again, شعر والله. All people should be treated equally, and unequal, unequally. No, example. Now you are going to hospital and you need to take an appointment for the outpatient, like, the clinic, all right? So can I have an appointment? Yes, your appointment at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But now it's 11. You come for the clinic? Yes, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. All right. And then the second one comes, I need to take appointment. It's okay, 3:15, 3:15, 3:15. I'm in a hurry. I'm sorry. All right. The third one, yes, you are at 3:30. I'm in a hurry. I have a flight. I'm sorry. And now you have a small baby which is feverish, hot, fever. Come to the clinic. I need to say, doctor, I have a little baby, small baby, so feverish, 39 or 40, and unequally. No, I'll take him now. I'm taking now. I'll take the baby and see the baby now, because it's unequal, so I'm treating unequally. I didn't give him the appointment at 3:45, because it's small kid, feverish, so it's in an unequal position, unequal situation, so I'm treating him unequally. Critical situation, it's not normal situation, so I'm treating unequally. Now I have an old father, 70, 75 years, come to the clinic, very tired, need help, and I need to see the doctor, so it's unequal, so I need him unequally. Okay, I can see you after 30 minutes. Thank you, Bob. Thank you. So all equal should be treated equally. All equal should be treated equally, and unequal, unequally. Thank you. Equal and unequal. There is a difference. There is a difference in the situation, in the circumstances, in the people. Yeah, you will measure this one, and that's why we have to avoid two things. Because of your question, we have to avoid two things. Two contradictory things. The first is favoritism. The second is, on one hand, we have to avoid favoritism. To read people who are equal, but read them unequally. All right? So we have to avoid favoritism. المحاباة. الواسطة. And we have to avoid discrimination. الظلم البين. All right? So it's good to have this common ground. All equal should be treated equally, and unequal unequally, but at the same time, we need to address, to avoid, to go to either favoritism or discrimination. What I mean by favoritism is dealing with people in a certain manner, give them a position, give them privilege, and they have no other extra power or extra skills than the other staff. So I'm giving them some favor, I'm treating them with some favor, but they don't possess, they don't show any extras than the others. So I'm giving them a favoritism. Discrimination, that I'm imposing extra load for the staff, for the people who are not different from the others, or are the same, doesn't have the same extra load. So in one hand, there is favoritism. I'm giving some people more advantages. And they have no criteria to justify to have these advantages. And on the other hand, I'm giving extra load, extra work, extra negative things for people who doesn't different from their stuff.
Governments hiring the people with special needs.
No, special needs unequally, so they are treated unequally.
Yes.
Yeah, they give the advantage of being hired because they have like 5% in the organization to be higher. You have 100 staff, 5% of the staff, 5 staff should be like one of the special need group, right? So now you understand the favoritism, you understand discrimination. So when you are going to deal with the fairness and ethical approach, what's in your mind? What's in your mind? All equal should be treated equally, and unequal unequally. We need to identify who is equal, and we need to identify who are unequal to avoid discrimination and favoritism. Clear? How many approaches till now? Utilitarian, rights, fairness, justice and fairness. The common good approach. Common good approach is that you consider yourself as one of the community. Now we are talking at the level of the community, of the country, and you are going to take a decision at that level, at the major level. Like utilitarian might be like a department, it's okay, department, family, okay, friends, okay. Rights, again, it's like a group of people. Fairness is like one-to-one. But when you come to the common goods, now we are talking at the level of the community. So when I take a decision, I'm going to take a decision regarding the community. First, I need to consider myself as a member of that community. Do I accept that for me to apply on me? Do I accept that decision to apply on me? When I take the decision, I'm doing good for the community? So this is a common approach. I consider myself as one of the community. I'm going to act on. Do I accept this? I see this as a good one. And then I start to take my decision. And when I take the decision, I take it at the community, at the governmental, at like the district area. Like having, for example, I will take a decision to have an affordable health care. I will take a decision to have an obligatory education for the kids. I will take a decision for having safe environment, for having a safety environment, for having a good environment. I will take a decision to keep the public safety. So that kind of decision is a kind of decision to have a common good for the community. So if you are going to take a decision, if you are one of the governmental people in position, and you are going to take a decision for, let's say, for the district, for example, consider yourself as one of the district people. Do you accept this? I'm doing good for the people? Yes? Okay? Let's go. Let's do it. Let's take the decision. Okay? This is easy, right? And finally, the virtue approach. Virtue means like the values. Virtue, these are the value, group of values. Virtue, values. So the virtue approach means you are taking decision to achieve value. You're taking decision to achieve value. Or to achieve, to go to be like a role model. You have a role model in your head, in your idea, in your brain, and you need to take decision to be like this role model. So, yes. So let's say that my role model is Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Rasulullah. So you need to take decision to be honest. So you will adopt a decision, you adopt a policy in the company to have an honest staff, honest culture in the company. By doing this, you are looking for a virtue model, for an ideal model. You want to be like that. For Isa alayhi salam, again, for tasamuh مثلا, compassion. So you are adopting a behavior to be like Isa alayhi salam. Or like, I personally adore, King Faisal. I personally adore King Faisal. And I usually see his speeches. I like it. I like how he's brave, how strong his decision was. So you want to be like to take decisions to reflect the role model of King Faisal, for example, or Jamal Abdel Nasser, as the person who would like to make unity between different people, the group of people. So you are taking sigil to reflect the role model of Gamal Abdel Nasser, Gandhi. What about Angelina Jolie? What is the role model of Angelina Jolie? Yeah, it's like very different journey going from like Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, saying like Jamal and King Faisal and now, actually, Angelina Jolie reflects a very amazing role model in accepting others and helping others. And she did this not only once, she make it like a utilitarian act. Sorry, utilitarian rule. She make it as a utilitarian rule. Angelina Jolie adopt 5 different kids from different continents. She adopted 5 different kids from different continents, and she's dealing with them as their own kids totally. She raised them, she loved them, she takes them with her everywhere in the world, and she's trying to focus, gain attention of the people of the world for this disadvantaged group of people and what we should do and how we should deal with them, by playing the role model of adopting disadvantaged kids. So she is playing a role model, a virtual model, for the other people to adopt and follow the same. What about you remember the man? The pilot. Yeah. Yeah, you remember what happened with the Jordanian pilot? El Kasaspa. What happened in that situation is like the Jordanian community feel that they are threatened, and what King Abdullah did, he started to reflect a value of integrity. I'm one of the community, the safety of the community, the participation, because we are a unity. So he shared in one airstrike against ISIS to reflect the idea of being, I'm one of the people, I'm sharing to defend and take the revenge for my community. So he's reflecting a model of sharing and compassion and being one and defending the community, being part of it. Okay? So he's reflecting a value. So now, if you are going to face any situation, so there is some questions you have to ask before taking any decision. If we are going to adapt the utilitarian approach, what are the kind of questions you're going to ask yourself? Yes. How much benefits this decision will add to how many people? So the good impact for the highest number of people. So this is a good ethical approach you can adopt. Okay? So this is if you follow the utilitarian approach. What about the moral approach, the right approach? You have, before you taking the decision, you have to calculate or to consider the right of the people concerned in your decision taking. Did I violate their rights by taking the decision? Do I violate the right of privacy, for example? The right of income, for example? The right for having a fair life? The right of their access to health care? Do I violate their rights? Okay? So I have to consider this. Do I violate the rights of safety? And then, for the fairness, you have to ask yourself, when I take my decision, I'm dealing with each one, or this decision will deal with each one in equal way, Or this decision will discriminate some staff over the others. Or this decision will make an stress and abuse of some staff. So discrimination. Again, when I talk about the common good, I'll have to ask myself, which course of action advance the common good? Like going steps from 1, 2, 3, 4, or going for the other steps like 5, 6, 7, 8. Which course of action is good for my community? That I'm imagine if I am one of this community, I will like the course of action. And finally, what kind of values I'm trying to achieve by taking my decision to reflect the virtual approach. When I do this course of action or when I take these decisions, I'm trying to achieve this kind of value like integrity, compassion, cooperation, transparency. So by doing this, I'm taking the virtual approach. All right? Any question? All right. Actually, you might have this approach contradict with each other. It might happen. Or you might find that this approach meet at the end, but taken from different perspectives or contradictory perspectives. It might happen, but these are the common ethical approach, common ethical schools that you can take and that you can follow to take an ethical decision. Okay? Any question? Any question? Sorry? Yes, we have two types of utilitarian approach. Utilitarian act, this is a kind in an emergency situation. Let's say we are in an emergency situation. Okay? And let's say there is an aeroplane falling down, and I'm the pilot of this aeroplane. I need to go falling down either in a green field or in a stadium. In both ways, I'm going down. So which choice I will take? In the green field, all right? In the green field. To save the lives of the people. So no doubt here, okay? No doubt. Now, rule. Act. Yes, so you measure how much is the impact on this and great value. So it's clear now. Now for the utilitarian rule, means that I will follow the same principles every time I'm facing the same situation, like the match. Like every time I'm in a situation with like, in a country with large number of population and country of small number of population, I come to the favor of the large number of population. So I will make this as like my habits every time I go to any match like this. So I will favor the country of the large population to make them happy and make me like good one in front of their eyes. So in that way, you are violating. So don't do it. But on the other hand, for our example, like we will give a 4 months maternity leave for ladies when they have the first their baby, because yes, at the moment it seems that I'm losing money. It's a cost. But when I repeat this one many times in the future, we'll have integrity of the family. We'll have a good social life. We have a healthy kids. So now I'm adopting, it seems like at this point, we have losses. But in the future, no, we'll have lots of benefits. So in that case, I'm adopting the utilitarian act because when I repeat this one with many ladies, and then I'll have a major benefit for the community. So this is a utilitarian act. Utilitarian rule. Okay, so this is a good choice. So this is a good choice. This is an ethical choice.
Maybe now I am in risk, but for the future I am...
Yes, yeah. Like the bribe, you are at risk of being bankrupt. You are at risk of being bankrupt. And the only way to go from this one, to escape from this one, is the bribe. But this is unethical. It seems like utilitarian act, but it's unethical. So you cannot say, I will follow the Utilitarian Act, I will do the bribe. No, it's wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong. Okay? Yeah, exactly that's what I have said in the conclusion. In the conclusion, I said, you might have different approach conflict with each other. Yes, this happened. And that's what we said when we criticize the utilitarian approach. We said, for the major benefit of the people, what about the minority of the people? I'm violating the rights. I'm violating the rights. But at this moment, at this stage, I'm following the utilitarian approach to take the decision. I know I'm violating the rights of the minority, but I'm in a situation that at the end, I will have the major impact for the major number of people. I know there's sometimes conflict. That's true. It happens. I will do my best to keep you having a full staring eyes looking to what I'm doing at the moment. So I need from your side some interest. And from side, I'll give you full interest, full power. Because the topic that we are going to discuss from now onward over the next 2 days, like today and tomorrow, is the world that you are living in and the facts that you are seeing. If you switch on the TV, you'll feel and you'll see lots of things that changing over time. If you switch on the TV, you'll start to see different kind of advertisement and commercials. That's different from the past. You'll see companies start to focus on activities and initiatives. It looks like they are going as they are part of the government. But this is because now they are concerning with the implementing a corporate social responsibility behavior and initiatives. I will show you, and I will make it clear for you. If you switch on the TV and you are seeing a debate program and people start to talk about one of the company and the behavior of that company going up or down, that's because now they are talking about the corporate social responsibility. You will see that now the famous scandals that you hear about the company, different companies, mainly concerning about the corporate social responsibility. You will see corporate social responsibility is like part of everything inside your company, inside your firm. So what we are talking about now is I'm attaching and addressing every function inside the company. That's why until now, we don't have one single definition of what's actually is the corporate social responsibility. But you will enjoy. So, today, and now we'll start with corporate social responsibility. Good. They always say that good business is a respectable business. It's the business that adds value to the consumer and to the community and to the environment. That's true. Good business is a respectable business. Good business is something that we aim to. Good business is something that you would like to purchase from, and it is the thing that you would like to take your money and invest in and be one of the shareholder, because it's a good business. You feel like you are in connect with something good. You are sharing in making value in life, and at the same time you are making profit. So you start to continue to share, put your money, having value to the community, to yourself, to your kids, to the environment around you, and at the same time makes profit. But actually, business nowadays is making lots of hazards to people, to environment, even to the economy. So first, let's start by see how a day-by-day business, the closing business, what is the effect of the closing business? Have you ever think who touched your expensive suit before you put it in yourself? Have you ever think or thought the purse that you have, the expensive purse, expensive bag that you carry and happy with it, who touched it? Who are the people who work to generate and produce this one? Have you ever thought, who make my shoe? Who are the people who did it? It looks nice, looks elegant, it's expensive. I paid too much money in that. But what is the circumstances? What is the environment where those people start to work to generate this good piece, this elegant piece? Did you thought about this before? Did you think about the people who work in different circumstances? So the first thing we'll start now by watching a trailer of a movie, a documentary movie called The True Cost. It talks about the clothing business, garment business. Let's see.
We communicate who we are through clothing. It is fundamentally a part of what we wish to communicate about ourselves.
We used to have a system, a fashion system. That has absolutely nothing to do with the fashion industry today. It has been reinvented.
It's based on materialism. The problem is that comes at a really high price.
Garment factory collapsed, killing more than 1,000.
Clashes between clothes factory workers and riot police in Cambodia.
Last November, 112 people were killed in another major factory fire. 30,000 Chinese workers have been on strike.
Garment workers in Bangladesh paying the price for cheap clothing.
Well, the promise of globalization was that it was going to be a win-win, that consumers in the rich world would get cheaper goods and people in the poorer parts of the world would get jobs, and that those jobs would give them an opportunity to work their way out of poverty.
This enormous, rapacious industry that is generating so much profit, why is it that it is unable to support millions of its workers properly?
The actual business model is completely unsustainable. Unless you change that model, you can't change anything.
When everything is concentrated on making profits, what you see is that human rights, the environment, workers' rights get lost.
My God, we can do better than this.
What we are going to discuss over the next 2 days. So what we are talking about is the impact of the business on the people, the impact of the business on the environment, and at the same time that the business make profit. We need business to make profit, to live, to have income, to eat, right? But at the same time, we would like to have a praxis, we would like to have initiatives, we would like to be part of a business that put in consideration and take decisions and make good environment for the labor, for the people, to have a proper work environment, for the community to avoid contaminating the environment, and to always have and save the resources. That's what we are going to talk about today and tomorrow. So this is, in a simple way, simple words, the corporate social responsibility. So what's corporate social responsibility? It's something that deals with three things, three important things. Sometimes they call it the triple P, people, profit, and planet. So it's a business, and when the business is dealing with three Ps, people, profit, and planning. And planet, sorry. And also sometimes they call it the 3E. Ecology, which is the environment, economy, and equity, people. dealing with the people in equal way. And this is like a new economy, ecology, and equity. And this is a new concept, like starting in the 60s, 1960s. And because it's a new concept and it's growing day after day, and every time they include like extra function of the business in the CSR. So like until now we don't have like one single definition for the corporate social responsibility. But at the moment, it's the thing that address dealing with the people, with the environment, and with the profit. When it started mainly like looking at the legal aspect. So if people of the business violating the legal aspect, so it's like unethical business. But now they shift from the legal aspect to the people, and from the people to the environment. So in simple terms, the simple definition that we can talk about for the corporate social responsibility is the way firms integrate social, environmental, and economic. Social, we are addressing the people now, social, environmental, ecology, and economic, the profit, concerned into their value, into their culture, into their policy, into their practice, okay? And into their operation in a very transparent and accountable manner. What I mean by transparent, that when I make a decision in my company, when I make policy in my company, I do address the benefit of the people who are working inside my company and the community outside my factory, my firm, the community around my business. And when I do a new practice, for example, or I adopt a new behavior inside a new manufacturing technique, for example, I do address the effect of this manufacturing technique on the environment I'm living on. Like I'm now working in the petrochemical industry, I'm generating lots of waste, and this is hazardous waste, and it will go to affect the environment, like the water resources around me. So I need to address this. I need to take precaution and make every step to keep the environment around me clean, away from the hazardous material I'm generating. So it's the way I'm addressing the social, environmental, and economic concern in my day-to-day policy, process, behavior, culture, value, and so on. In a transparent way, make it clear for everyone. Make it clear for the people they are working in your company and for the community outside, and make it accountable. Make yourself responsible for this behavior. So if you violate economy, ecology, and environment and population, so make yourself responsible. Say, I am the one who is responsible for this bad behavior. So in an accountable manner. Okay? This is a simple definition. So we saw, actually what we saw now is the true cost, the untold story behind the clothing manufacturing. Now I'll give you a good initiatives. You might see the next video something very simple, very primitive, cannot come from something big like Samsung. This is Samsung initiatives on corporate social responsibility in a very remote village in Ethiopia. Now I'll show you a video about corporate social responsibility initiatives done by Samsung in a very remote village in Ethiopia. This village has no lighting system, no electricity. So they start to help this village by giving them a solar lamp. It might come like $5. So like Samsung will invest only $5 per person, per family, let's say per family in a village. Let's have like, there is like 50 family, 50 times $5, nothing for Samsung. Is it true? But let's see the impact of these initiatives on the triple bottom line, on the people themselves, on the economy of that people, and on the environment. It might seem like very simple initiatives, but let's see the impact of these simple initiatives. ممنوع النوم ها؟
Ani maqaan koo Asteer Kababaan jedhama. Kanan itti dhaladhe ganda jilaa qeerransaa keessaa. Obbolaa dhiiraa shanan qaba kan dubaraa sadii hangafa. Hundaalee isaatti uumaa qabannee kan dubaachi keenya jechuudha ta'aa bichaa lakkoofsa dareetti turre. Sekarang kan mangga ada desa kan gunung durani. Beri jata mas torbatan jata mas ini agarun. Ini apa tangkap akal bifai timidan sama seperti itu. Aile na fiki ya kure kana tin karhi tin nani isa bisade tin oda ode kani mi tuwa mo tade fiki ya mara jere nyade magara da fiki ya nampi tade tin jere de na ya kimaja suki tin ka tade kana kimaja achile kura de tade
Okay, so what is the effect of simple initiatives on a village? Simple corporate social responsibility initiatives on the village in terms of economy. Economy. No, this is the people are happy. Increase revenue, yes, accomplish task in a fast way. Yeah, the dish, how long it takes to make the one single dish? It was 2 weeks. Now how long it takes? 3 days. Wow. Yeah, economy, she will start, now she has a dream. She will build a house. She bought her own investment, a calf. She will start to make a microcredit. Wow. It's only simple solar lantern like $5. Changed the life of one single person and even the village. What about the people? People happy, people work, people learn, people study, kids study, meet together, social life increased. And what about the environment? Solar. It's a solar system. No bad effect, no negative effect on the environment, environmentally friendly device. So what about the effect on Samsung? You, as a client of like a mobile client or a TV or whatsoever, yeah, you respect the company, so it's like more branding for Samsung. So Samsung like spend, let's say like $250 and get the respect of clients in Riyadh. Increase the reputation in Riyadh by one single, initiatives. Cost nothing. So this is a kind of corporate social responsibility initiatives that can a company make to change the triple bottom line, people, profit, economy, and the environment. So now, as I said, because this is like a new science, corporate social responsibility, so we start to have like multiple names, different names, till we get to the one that the people agree on. That's why you might hear like something about corporate responsibility, corporate accountability, corporate sustainability, corporate citizenship, responsible enterprise, triple bottom line, triple E, triple P, responsible competitiveness, and so on and so forth. So from now onward, you'll hear about something like this. All of them go in the same direction. It's all about like the triple bottom line, which is the triple Ps. Okay? From your point of view, which one you like best? Which one of these you like best? Which one you like? I personally, I like one of them. Corporate responsibility, ethics. Triple bottom line, ethics, corporate ethics, corporate responsibility, accountability. I personally like corporate citizenship because from my point of view, it makes the company like one person, one citizen in the country where it operates. So as being one of the citizens of that country operate, I have the rights and I have the obligation. I have the right for 1 and 2 and 3, and also I have an obligation for the community. So it's like a mutual benefit between the business and the place where it operates. Yes. But what I'm saying here, the one I personally like, being a citizen, you feel like identity. You know, like imagine yourself like, let's say Philips. And Philips come here to work in the Saudi Arabia and start to do the business and start to do some initiatives, all right? Philips start being as like, I think it's a Netherlands company, right? Yeah, it's a Netherlands company. So, so coming from Europe to feel like a citizen in the KSA is good feeling. Anyway, so actually, the good people, the people in the high position start to think about the corporate social responsibility, and they have given us some quotes. For example, the ex-CEO of the Unilever said, "We believe in Unilever, for example, that the leading global company in 2020 are the companies that can provide goods and services and new services, and at the same time address the global challenge." And what are the global challenge? These are poverty, scarcity of resources, environmental pollution, demographic shift, and globalization. So now they are thinking that if you would like to survive in our business and in the future business, you have to address the coming challenges. And what are the common challenges that will address business in the future? Globalization, scarcity of resources, low resources, environmental pollution, movement of the people from different areas, demographic change. Globalization means like overseas trading, overseas outsourcing, and overseas recruitment. Globalization. Okay. and transportation, and transportation. Okay, now let's see what is business and how business affect the others. Let's go for the stakeholder, for example. Business affect people. So it affects the staff, the clients, the shareholder, the partner, the competitor, the government sector. So business has an effect on the many stakeholders. And at the same time, stakeholders around the business see the business from different perspectives and see how they can get benefit from the good business. So for example, if you are the top management in the business, your main concern with the business is to make a network. You make a network with individual, you make a network with a group, and you make a network with institutions. You need to increase your network as someone in executive position. And for a business to survive and start to make business in other land, for example, let's say you have international business that would like to grow its extension in a new land, like in a new country. They would like to go to Africa, for example. So they will not go for a country with, like, for example, with like environmental pollution or governance problem or a conflict. They will not go with a situation with low finance and economy. Okay, so this is how business look, how to do business. So their main concern is the people in the land, the regulation in the land, and the total condition of the environment. Also, the general public have a concern with the business, especially the private business. They would like to purchase from what's known as ethical business, to support this ethical business. What I mean here, if we have a company that has a bad reputation due to bad behavior, for example, child labor. So this company is known for the child labor. Are you happy if you're going to buy from this company? No, the public will not do this. They would like to support the other business that support child education, for example. Okay? So general public would like to support and buy from the company with good ethics, with good reputation. And one of the most common dilemma happen with Gap is the scandal of Gap that with the child labor. I will show you the video later on. So what is the cost of non-compliance with corporate social responsibility? What will happen if we are not going to comply with the current situation and the corporate social responsibility? Let's first know what are the main functions that corporate social responsibility address. What I mean, what are the main functions of business? Like, what are the sectors in business that's considered as corporate social responsibility? Number one, law commitment. So if you are violating the law, so this is again is a corporate social responsibility. So the first function in business, law. القانون, القوانين, التشريعات. So you should have a law commitment. You should have a law commitment. You should follow the law in the country where you operate. If you do not follow the law, if you are not commit with the law, so you are violating the corporate social responsibility. The second function is corporate governance. It's how you build your own organization, your policy and process. So you should have something that in respect or in line with the regulation also in the country where you operate. Number three is the health and safety. Imagine you are working in a major factory, for example, and there is no regulation for health and safety. Construction company, for example. If the construction company didn't implement health and safety measures, how many accidents they will have every day? Sometimes when you pass by any new big projects, you will find a major sign. After 1,000 hours, we have 0 incident. Sometimes they write like this. Have you seen one like this? They are proud that after like long time of working hours, they have 0 accident because they are implementing health and safety. The fourth function in business is environmental stewardship. Stewardship means like you're building the environment. So you are supporting the environment. So any activity that violate, that make a negative impact on the environment is a violation of the corporate social responsibility. Triple bottom line. Human rights, people. So anything that violate the human rights, violate the CSR. Sustainable development, what I mean like you're always keeping the resources. You use the most efficient resources. So you make a sustainable action. I will show you the sustainability later on. Condition of the work, the salary, the number of hours. Community involvement, development, and investment. Nowadays, big companies, when they start to do business in any community, so they start to give money and build housing and build schools and healthcare system for the community where they start to operate. That's why this is a part of the new initiative of the corporate social responsibility. So they are working on to develop the community where they operate. Industrial relationship, like having a fair business, having a fair trade, avoiding the bribe, to have a good relationship in the industry. So these are kind of corporate social responsibility function or business function that the corporate social responsibility address. So if we violate one of these, so we are violating the corporate social responsibility, and therefore we have a major consequences. Now, I'll give you one example. Okay? I'll give you example of violation of the law commitment. Intentionally violating the law commitment. And the next video is your main target in your assignment. You can use this video, track the video, look for the full video, and use it in your assignment. This is a clue for like 1 or 2, about 45 marks. Okay, so this is a clue for 45 marks in your assignment. Okay? Intentional violation of the law, Volkswagen. Let me explain for you first. What happened for you? What happened is Volkswagen, the very famous German brand, one of the major income for the German income, start to produce new kind of cars, especially in the US market, Jetta and Passat. In 2009, and to have the license to operate, they had its new kind of car and technology, so they have to generate a low emission of carbon dioxide. So what happened, they passed in 2009 and 10, 11, 12, 13. 14 started some of the institutions to do a search for this new car that have a low emission. So after 5 years from starting the business, from launching this kind of new cars, they start to measure the consequence of after 5 years from operating. Start to do like a low emission or not. So surprisingly, they found they are generating a higher emission than expected and than tested, and by times, Volkswagen claimed that they intentionally, they have put a device to deceive the test result. So at the test result, they put a new technology, a new device to deceive and decrease the amount of emission coming out from the car. And they found that, according to your case study, when you will visit your case study, that I think Jetta, you should have like a normal amount of emission. So Jetta exceeds the normal amount between like 15 to 35 times. And for Passat, I think between 15 to 20, 25, something like this. And when they start to investigate in that issue, at the beginning, Volkswagen denied, but later on, Volkswagen claimed that, yes, we intentionally did this. So the usual scandal we have from car manufacturing company is like a problem in the brake, a problem in the paddle, a problem in the safety bag, and this is like a technical problem. But today, we are facing an intentional violation of the law. That's why it's a big scandal facing Volkswagen. And this is your case study. Now let's see the video.
Cleaning up the mess, Volkswagen bosses discuss how to deal with the emissions rigging scandal. The company has already lost billions of its share price. And how is the rest of the global automobile industry affected? And what about the true pollution levels? This is Inside Story. Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Mike Hanna. Top executives of the world's biggest car maker, Volkswagen, have been huddled in a crisis meeting in their German headquarters. The company has admitted to intentionally fitting 11 million diesel cars with devices designed to cheat emission test results. But more importantly, it's cost Volkswagen a loss of faith in the brand. Earning back consumer trust will not be easy. Rob Reynolds takes a closer look at the scandal.
With his company accused of serious and deliberate deception, Volkswagen chief executive Martin Winterkorn apologized and said such manipulation would never happen again.
Ladies and gentlemen, many millions of people across the world trust our brands, our cars and our technologies. I'm endlessly sorry that we betrayed the trust. I apologize profusely to our clients, to the authorities and the entire public for the wrongdoing.
The scandal has shaken German industry.
We were all pretty surprised about that, and it's kind of a catastrophe, not only for Volkswagen, it's a catastrophe for all the German car makers, and it's bad even for the brand made in Germany, because Volkswagen is one of our really big brands that stand for German quality.
Even Chancellor Angela Merkel was forced to address the stunning instance of corporate deceit.
The Minister of Transport is in close contact with the VW company, and I hope that the facts will be put on the table as quickly as possible.
U.S. officials found Volkswagen installed software in its diesel vehicles that tricked emissions tests into giving the cars a passing grade, even though they emitted more pollution while on the road. The company issued a statement saying 11 million vehicles are affected. It has set aside 6.5 billion euros for recalls and servicing, and it says Volkswagen does not tolerate violation of laws and will make winning back consumer trust its top priority. Unlike other auto recalls involving design flaws or defective parts, Volkswagen is accused of deliberately hatching a technologically sophisticated scheme to deceive government agencies and consumers. Damage control experts say the nature of the scheme will make regaining trust much harder.
I think whenever you have a situation where something is calculated and malicious and there is a desire to deceive, the half-life is longer for recovery.
On Wednesday, a committee of Volkswagen's board members and major shareholders will hold an emergency meeting. A board member says he expects senior company heads will roll. Rob Reynolds, Al Jazeera, Berlin.
So based on this story, and your case study, intention violation of the law, which is the first function of the CSR law commitment, has a pricelessness effect on the company in terms of like gaining the reputation again, the claim against the company, and the enormous amount of money that they have to spend to recall the vehicle and to fix the problem. It's 11 million cars that they have been claimed, only 11 million cars. We don't know how many they are. 11 million cars having a problem, so they have to claim the car and to change and do whatever necessary to overcome the problem. So in your assignment, you need to address the impact of such event on people, all the people. When I say all the people, I mean like the customer, the supplier, the employees, the government, all the stakeholders. So you have to address all the stakeholders. And I truly address the stakeholders at the beginning when I said business have many effects on the people, like employee, customer, competitor, business partner, investors, shareholders. Because you know what? Shortly after that event, the share of Volkswagen dropped by 40%. 40%. So if I'm investing $100, now it become like $60. And I did nothing. I was sleeping at home. Yeah. So if it is like 1,000, so now it's like 600. So if it is like 1 million, now it's like close $500,000. So I lost $500,000 because some people did bad thing while I was sleeping. Anyway, so we need to address the effect of the bad doing on people, on the economy. What about the German economy? What will happen to the reputation of the made in Germany? If this happened in the big company, what about the small companies? The effect in small and medium-sized enterprise in Germany. And also the effect on the pollution, on the pollution they generate. You need to give me like figures, how much pollution they generate over like 5 years or 6 years from 2009 to 2015, because they claim this in 2015. Okay, so this kind of response we are expecting from you. Anyway, so we saw the effect of violating the CSR. Now, why are we doing the corporate social responsibility also? We do this one because there is 2 reasons. One is like a public policy in terms of government in one hand and the society in one hand, on the other hand. And also from the business and profit point of view, that when I do good, I get good revenue and then I get big profit. So I need to adopt a good practice. I need to adopt a good initiatives. I need to adopt a good behavior in business to increase the revenue and therefore increase the profit, gain much confidence from the customer, make my branding, make my reputation, and so on and so forth. Any question? So you got the corporate social responsibility concept. You got it? All right. So do you think it's something new? Is it new for you? If the corporate social responsibility as a concept is something new for you? First time to hear the name. Okay. So you do some practices.
Yes.
Yeah. You did this at the company, but did you know that this is known as corporate social responsibility? You feel it's good to do this.
Yes.
So yeah, you take sawab, you took hasanat. Okay. So why we are doing the corporate social responsibility? Okay, let's generate ideas. Why we are doing corporate social responsibility? There must be some reasons to do it. Why I'm doing this? Yes, get revenue. What else? Reputation, right? What else? Branding. So this is the benefits. So these are like benefits we are doing, right? But what are like the obligations that push us? The obligation that push us to do corporate social responsibility. There are something that push us to do the corporate social responsibility, not to make profit at the moment, because I'll talk about the profits later on. But our obligation, you know that you have a rights and obligation. What is the obligation that make us to do the corporate social responsibility? Let's start by going for the first one. We need a sustainable development. We live in a world that has a low resources. So if we exhaust our current resources, there will be no resources for the future generation. That's why we are trying to shift to the renewable resources. So we do this one in terms of making a sustainable practice to keep our resources for the future generation. Number two, we do the corporate social responsibility because of the globalization. And I said before that globalization, like you opening overseas your business, you hiring and you taking outsourcing from a supplier that's overseas. And as we see in the trailer of the true cost, that we need to address the condition where the labor working. So we need to make sure that the labor who are working in distant places having a good environment to work in, having a good situation to work in. One of the good quotes I read before comes from Puma. The CEO of Puma said, global director of Puma said, we believe that Puma had a corporate responsibility that doesn't end at the national border. And that need to affect the well-being of our distant neighbor. See how he addressed the people in the other part of the world? Our distant neighbor. So it's good to do good things for our community and our neighbors, but it's also good to provide good practices and good initiatives to our distant neighbor that are directly or indirectly involved in the production of Puma product. If you go and see where is Puma usually made, where is usually made Puma? No. No, usually I remember something like Vietnam and the nearby countries, yes. It's not like always China. Something it's not usually in China. Yeah, usually they take another country. So the first one, that why we do the corporate social responsibility, to have a sustainable business because we have a low resources. Number two, because of the globalization issue. Number three, because of the governance. The governance. Nowadays and every day we have a new law, a new international law generated at the level of the United Nations, the International Labour Organization, and we as business have to be aligned with these laws. So we need to take the good initiatives to follow the law, otherwise we'll be violating the law of labor, for example. Okay? Or we are violating the law of environmental safety, for example. So the governance, the global governance that we need to follow. That's why we have obligation to do a good initiative and a good business. Yes, yeah, the community is part of the people. Community is part of the people, I said that before, especially with the big projects. Number four, we are obliged to do a good initiatives, a good work because of the corporate sector impact. You know How many small and medium enterprises in any country? Large number. So if you collect these all together, you will have a high impact of the business on the country, on the environment, on the community, on the people where they operate. So the total size of business is huge, and this total size of business have a major impact on the triple bottom line: people, environment, and profit and economy. Communication. Now we live in the world of open communications. We are watched. We are exposed. It's simply that any misconduct, any simple abuse can be generated and communicated outside your company, and you'll be exposed to lots of claim and lots of violations. So you need to take care, because communication is now, it helps you to manage your business, and at the same time, it exposes you to lots of hazards. Finance. People would like to buy from the ethical company. They would like to buy from the good company. And also, investors would like to invest on the company that has a good reputation. So as long as you have a good reputation, you are following the law, you are helping people and community, you have a good reputation, you have high sale, high revenue, and then high profit. So you attract me as an investor to go and make investment with you, to be your partner. Ethics. As we said before, we should follow the ethics. We should follow the law. We should respect it. Consistency and community. As Buma said, we need to do the good to our community, and also we need to do the same good, the consistent doing, not only in Puma in Germany, but also in our distant neighbors. In Burma, for example, they are doing lots of work in Burma. In Burma, for example. So whatever you do good, like the number of hours per labor in Germany should be the number of hours per labor in Burma. Yeah, the condition of work in Germany ought to be, idealistically ought to be the same condition in Burma. Idealistically should be. So to have like a sort of consistency, that's what we idealistically look forward and working to achieve in the future. Leadership. Sometimes you have like an international business in a developing country. So the international business will continually and consistently follow the international law regulation. However, this regulation is not implemented in this developing country. But by doing this, you are taking the lead. Like for example, there is no minimum hour per law in this, like Uganda, for example. They don't have a law for the minimum hour per day for the labor. But if you are like XYZ international company, and you know that the maximum hour per day is like 8 per day, so you are following the international laws. So you are taking a leadership role in the developing country, for example, where the regulations law is not yet developed or implemented. So you're taking like a leadership, you be a model. Also, the CSR is a business tool that you can use to reduce the risk of your business and to open for a new opportunity and to enhance your brand, as we said with the Samsung, and improve efficiency as well when you use renewable energy. So you're doing an efficiency way of production. Okay, this is good. This is what force us, this is the obligation that force us to do what? To do the corporate social responsibility. Number one, to have sustainability, because we have a shortage of resources, a globalization, because we live in a developing world, in a changing world, because of the governance, because every day we have a new law, so we need to comply with the new law. And then we said number four, the impact of small business together have a major impact on the country, And then we said like the presence of the communication and the development of the communication make us too much exposed to any problem. So we need to do good rather than doing bad and hide the bad. And said the impact of the good things on the finance. We'll have lots of customers and investors can come and share with us. And the ethics per se, coming from the Volkswagen, for example, on the consistency at work, the leadership, and the enhance as a basic business tool to improve the revenue and do an efficient work. Okay, so this is why we do the obligation to do the corporate social responsibility. But what are the benefits? What we can get in our pocket money? How can it help us? Da'wat. Yes. Number one, I'll give you examples. By doing corporate social responsibility, you can have a better anticipation and management of future risk. And we have actually one example. One company did good practice, and she get the return back in 2007. Nestle. Nestle have a major initiative that's called creating shared value. What's creating shared value by Nestle? I think Nestle was the company number 5 in the world, the 5th biggest company in the world. Nestle هي المستعمر الحقيقي لكل بيت دلوقتي. You know what? They have a vision that there is Nestle in each room in the world. And they are true. It's true. Go back home and open your kitchen. What you will find? Nestle everywhere. Nestle everywhere. So you'll find like chocolate, milk, Nescafe, Nesquik, coffee bait, biscuit. Go to work. You will find like Nescafe. Go to anywhere. Go to the restaurant. Go anywhere. Nestle is everywhere. Water, everything is Nestle. Everywhere you find Nestle. So I think it was ranked like number 5 in the world as a biggest company. Anyway, Nestle started to the shared value initiatives. What shared value is? Nestle have more than 500,000 outsourcers all over the world in terms of the small provider of coffee and milk and Coke. So they start to help these small enterprises to develop more efficient way of production. So they give them education and training and show them how to be more efficiently producing their product. And they don't oblige them to provide Nestle with their product. So they make a sort of donation, and also they do a microfinance for people around the world for about like 49 billion per year, microfinance. So all of these are sort of the corporate social responsibility. So they help small farmers everywhere in the world to do good farming, an efficient way of farming, and they take directly from the small farmers and they pay them directly without having an intermediate in between. So they take the whole sum of the profit. In 2007, there was a markedly increase in the price of milk, and the market goes high. But the client of Nestle start and continue to give Nestle with the same original price as a sort of like complimentary or sort of giving a reward back to Nestle. So it's a sort of having a future risk management behavior of establishing partnership and doing good for the customers, and the customer give it back to Nestle. You got it? You got it? Again, Nestle helped poor people in far away places and everywhere in the world. Nestle has about 500,000 outsourcers, small farms that give Nestle with milk and coffee and chocolate bar. So they help these small enterprises. They teach them how to farm, they teach them how to use renewable resources, do efficient work, reduce expenses, and gain profit and make profit. So they train them as an initiative from Nestle. So Nestle spend money for these farmers to make good farming. And they didn't ask them to do and sell only for Nestle. They can sell to anyone they like. So they did good for the community all over the world. 500,000. In 2007, there was a crisis in the price of milk. The price of milk goes up. So there was a high demand here. And what happened is, Nestle already established a good partnership with the supplier. So they gave it back and they supply Nestle with the milk they need in a reasonable price, not with the higher price. They give it back. Okay? So it's a sort of anticipating the risk and working together to prevent risk from happening, building partnership with the small enterprise. I will show you what they did actually, Nestle.
Create a shared value, these three words is actually covering the fundamental way we want to behave as a company and by nature also as persons. There's a fundamental way how we want to go about our activities. And it is linked with this conviction that a company, to be meaningful and successful over time, has to intersect also with society in a very positive and constructive way. This part of the pride also of more than 330,000 people who are part of that. They are making Nestle. They are doing these things. So people are buying our products because there's trust. They trust in our brand, they trust in the product. And more they want also to trust in the company who is behind that brand, behind that product. If you see what we do in Abidjan and the Ivory Coast and sharing with farmers knowledge of how we can increase the yields and the quality of cocoa plants so that they can have a decent income for their families without having to involve their kids and they can send them to school, how we have built schools there. If you see how we are able to be part of a Healthy Kids program that is getting to millions of kids with governments and educating them for being able to care for themselves, for healthy diet. If you see how we have been able to drive nutrition, health and wellness arguments through the whole portfolio worldwide. If you see how we're driving through our R&D this knowledge of microfortification, that is what we have done. That is what we want to do, and that's our commitment. That's what we commit to ourselves, and we want to share that with you. The company behaves like a citizen, in the same way, with the same sense of responsibility. And with the size we have, we can really make a difference. And that feeling of being able to make a difference there too is a very good feeling.
So what they did, they make that creating shared value, helping small business everywhere in the world, helping the community, and creating value, originating for Nestle value, and communicated to the whole world that they help people and let the people generate efficiently profit. So number one, as we said, anticipating the risk and working to prevent the risk from happening by doing CSR. Number two, improve reputation management. And I gave you an example of reputation management, for example, for the Body Shop and how Body Shop is communicating what they are believe in. They believe in that the animals are created to live and enjoy life and not as a tool or experimental tool that we use and test our product on it. This is an example. But at the same time, we have some company that has a bad reputation at the moment because they violate the corporate social responsibility. One of them is Gap, because Gap start to implement the child labor as an efficient and cheap labor to produce their products. That's happened in Bangladesh and in Indonesia as well. Also Foxconn, and Foxconn, I will show you a full case study about Foxconn and Apple. It's very famous case study. We'll talk about later. So what I would like to say now that implementing CSR improve the company reputation, violate the CSR, still have a stigma in your history, a stigma in your track that you one day you violate ethics and you violate the law. The famous thing about the Apple Foxconn, we'll talk about it later, but just to know, Foxconn is one of the major planets that produce electronics in the world and has many planets, many big factories in different areas in the world. One of them was in China, and in this planet, in this factory in China, they have about like 500,000 workers working in this planet. Imagine 500,000 workers in and out over 24 hours. Changing shift, 500,000. Anyway, the percent of the people in that planet that start to attempt suicide and already suicide did start to increase. So we start to have a dilemma about the working condition in that company. We will address this later on, and I'll show you the video. You will like the video. So this is about the bad reputation between Foxconn and Apple. And why Apple? Because Foxconn is the main outsourcer for the Apple component. And again, the Walmart. When you review the true cost of closing, the trailer I showed to you, you saw some people crying and you saw a disaster and like people fighting because in Bangladesh, Walmart is a wholesale high supermarket that buy cheap clothes from Bangladesh. So they are taking they outsource the clothes from a factory in Bangladesh that failed twice over 2 years in the safety inspection. Walmart knows this and continue to purchase from the same factory. What happened is that because they failed twice over 2 years, the factory burned and people died, workers died. Walmart knew that there is twice violation of the safety inspection and start to continue to outsource from the same factory. Number 3, why we do and what's the benefit of having a corporate social responsibility practices and initiatives is that you start to have the staff retention. And staff retention is very important for the business to continue because you invest a lot to hire and train one staff. What about many staffs? Okay? So by having a good practice in place, so start to have retention of the staff. One of the examples for this is Harrods and the staff. A meeting done between the CEO of Harrods and a group of staff to exchange ideas about how we can keep the staff in Harrods. Imagine, they are thinking how they can keep the staff and do a staff retention in Harrods. So they exchange the idea and they reach to an agreement that by doing this and doing that, you can continually retain your staff. And they did it. Harrods accept the idea and start to implement the initiatives. And by this, Harrods continually keep the high-profile staff working in Harrods. By having the business concerning with the environment, focusing on saving the environment, keeping the environment free from hazards, working for the efficiency using a renewable energy. By doing this, you are shifting your scale of revenue, and you're increasing your total customers. Especially you start to have a new innovations like the hybrid car. When the hybrid car start to be on the ground, there is an increasing number of people, of customers, moving to use the hybrid car cost efficiently, right? So by buying the hybrid car, you are saving lots of money because it uses little of the fuel in comparison to the original cars. So having the innovation, such innovation, gave you a competitive advantage over your competitor. Did you hear about the hybrid car? You hear about that. So what's hybrid car? It's a new technology, yes. Anyone from the car manufacturing? So what's the idea from having a hybrid car? Saves energy. Efficiency, yes. Low emission, yeah. Low consumption, so it's low consumption of the fuel, so we are saving our fuel, and low emission, so no drawback on the environment, and cost effective. And cost effective. And yes, keeping resources for the future generation, right? These are the kind of, so you start to invest in new innovations that support the corporate social responsibility, support the environment, support the profit making.
When Professor Ferdinand Porsche presented his first car in 1900 at the World Fair in Paris, everyone was astounded. An electric drive, 2 wheel hub motors. On the one hand, it was a sensation, but on the other, people quickly agreed, it won't work. Too bold, too fast. 50 kilometers per hour, it'll send the horses crazy. And now, it was bound to happen. The assignment: do everything differently, differently than expected. Do whatever you will, but don't touch that Porsche crest. Result: concept study Porsche 918 Spyder, high performance hybrid. The design, more Porsche than ever, to turn in fabulous times on the Nürburgring Nordschleife. Economically driven at about 3 liters per 100 kilometers and with CO2 levels of about 70 grams per kilometer. A contradiction? Not at all. We call it Porsche Intelligent Performance.
So have a new innovation. Announce your new innovation. Get new clients, inshallah. Get new clients for your new innovations. Increase your sale, increase your profit. Look, target a new market. So as we said that having a new innovation like the hybrid car decrease the use of resources. It's efficient way of performance, and at the same time decrease the emission to the environment. Also enhance operation efficiencies and cost saving by recycling. Adopt practices to recycle your wasted material. Generate profit from your waste. And as I said before, attract and build effective and efficient supply chain relationship. Look for the supplier who has a good reputation and who is following a good CSR reputation, who is following a good HR practices. Avoid the supplier with a problem because this is directly linked to you. Foxconn, Apple, Walmart, and the Yeah, there is no name with the okay. And finally, have your CSR as your protective umbrella from any undetectable event that can happen to you. Just follow laws, just follow regulation, just adopt good behavior. By doing this, you have an umbrella that protects you from any future risk that you can face. Access to capital. Imagine now you need to make a new project, you need to make a new extension in your business, and you are preparing and providing your paperwork to the bank. And when you provide your paperwork to the bank to have a loan or to have a support from the bank out to look for an extra investor, in your report, you have the good deeds, you have the good performance, and let's say you have a high safety report over the last 5 years. You have the cost-efficient performance. You have the highest retention of your employee over the last years. For sure, you have a good support from the bank. On the other hand, you have a low risk management report. You have twice violating the law. Are you going to take the loan? You will not take the loan. So having a good practice in place will help you to have an access for any capital in the future. Also, having the CSR will increase your relationship with the regulator, with the governing people, especially at your community, because you are helping the community. By helping the community, you're establishing a good relationship between the company, the business, and the regulator in your community. So that's, on one hand, are the rules of the business. What about the customers? Customers should support such positive business by buying their products. Follow the rule. Buy green product. Buy cost-efficient product. Buy hybrid product. Do recycling. Use, reuse, recycle your product. You have to follow also the corporate social responsibility from your side as a customer, as you are requesting the company and business to do their own side as a business. So as a customer, you need to comply with this one. Support the company that do good deeds. That's it. Any question? Let's do a little exercise to assess how much you can see from the idea. Okay? So I'll give you small case study. We discuss it together just to know how much you get out of the concept of ethics, moral and ethics, and corporate social responsibility. So we'll have this small case study to discuss it. Only one or few questions that we'll discuss it, okay? Our current case study about the golf courses. Golf courses. You know golf courses? Golf courses is a huge business. And usually it takes a large proportion of the green land. Golf courses is a huge business. And it's comprehensive business. It's not only playing golf, it's lots like building hotels, having clubs, having restaurants to complement the business. When you do golf courses, you have to do the golf courses over a large proportion of the green land. Or if you started in a desert-like land, so you have to invest a huge amount of the water resources. Golf courses is very expensive and very profitable. It's spread mainly the people who are very famous for playing golf courses are the Japanese. So Japanese having lots of the golf courses in Japan. And then they start to have a legislation to stop having new golf courses. So now they are playing on what they already have, no any new. And then the business start to go from Japan to the Far East, especially for the developing, low legislation countries. Mainly, one of the famous is Thailand. So in Thailand, they have started the golf courses, and now they have many golf courses everywhere in Thailand. Even if you go to Bangkok, one of the famous and the very highest hotel there, they have golf courses inside the hotel. And they I think it's the 5th or 4th floor. Anyway, if we have a golf course, so what have we done? We take, number one, large proportion of the green land. We might take this one from the farmers to make the business. And we need to have a good irrigation system. And also we need to have a good pesticide system to overcome the insect that can do harm for the players and for the fans of the game.
Done by farmers.
Yes, so if you have to spread lots of the insecticides, so this will go and drain into the water resources. These water resources go to the nearby farming area. So it can have a negative impact on the water resources in the community, in the marine life, and on the production of the other fields. The people who are working in the golf courses are exposed to the sun because they usually working from morning to lately at night. So they are exposed to lots of the hazards from the sun. So some of them have a cancer skin. People who are working the golf courses, by studies, they found them they have some of the cancer. It's very common among the golf courses worker, like cancer pancreas, cancer prostate, and cancer GI, which is the stomach and intestine. So this is by study. The lady who are working in the golf courses have a high liability to be exposed to sexual harassment. So having a business like this, having lots of the good deeds and lots of the negative influence on the environment, as I said, on the resources, the natural resources like the green land, the marine land, the farming, on the people exposed to disease, and so on and so forth. So imagine now, and as I said, it's moved from the well-developed country like Japan to the poorly developed country because there is no legislation to protect the workers against what they are exposed to, the long working hours and exposure to risk of the insecticides, the sun, the harassment, and so on. Okay, so it moves from the well-developed to the developing countries. All right. So now I will ask you some questions, and I need you to work in a group of 2 or 4 or 3. So if you like to work as one single table, it's okay. If you like to work as maximum 2 tables, it's okay. Assume the golf course is owned by the Thai government, for example, and was created to promote economic success and improve the standard of living in the country. They make the golf courses to improve and promote the economic success and the standard of living in the country. Evaluate the effect of the golf course from the perspective of that triple bottom line. Give me good and bad influence on the people. Give me good and bad influence on the environment. Give me good and bad influence on the economy, where this is very famous business in Thailand. So you have many golf courses in Thailand. Okay? economic benefits of having multiple golf courses. Economic benefits of having multiple golf courses. Income, generating income to the people, to the community. Okay, to the national people. All right, generating income. What else?
A lot of vacant.
Yeah, it's government projects, but generating income for the people who are working in the yes. So this is number one, generating income for the country as well. Okay.
Better to say creating vacant for citizenship.
Creating vacancies for the citizenship. Yes. What else?
Also.
Yeah. Sorry? Tourists. Yes, attracting tourists to come. Yes, attracting tourists and game lover to come to this place, wonderful places. Yes, to spend time and spend dollars in this area. Right. What else?
Organizing international champion.
Yes, holding international champion games, and this will add value to the name of the country. Like this country is known for like international champions, so you feel like will reflect peace and feel like hostility as well in this country. Yes. What else? As an economical benefit of such projects, such golf course project. Yes, infrastructures and new investment like hotels, restaurant, and housing area around the golf course itself. What else? So increase for the other investment beside the golf course itself. Yes. Entertainment, yes, providing an extra entertainment for the people, because when the people finish playing golf in the morning, they should look for some entertainment activity to engage in, especially if they are tourists or if they are coming from outside the country. So this will add value. This will generate more dollars to the country. Yes. What else? Okay. What about the negative impact on the economy? Affecting farm areas. Yes, when you do multiple, when you have multiple, that's why I said it's multiple here in Thailand. Multiple golf courses. It's only not single one, it's multiple. So you are affecting the total proportion of the farming area. So you may have a diminished production of the farming product.
Water resource depletion.
Depletion of the water resources, because you will exhaust a large amount of water, yes, for the irrigation. So now if we are talking about water and resources here, so is it an economic or environmental? Environmental. So it's environmental. So this was environmental and this is also environmental. Economic, negative drawback, negative economic drawback. The consequences on the economy, yes. So yes, so the country economy will pay for the newly generated disease, the expenses of the disease that affect the people. Yes, this we can't say that. Okay, what about the positive impact on the people? Positive impact on the people. Positive impact on the people. Jobs. Entertainment. Sorry? New skills. Yeah, training and new skills. Positive for the people. No. Yeah, income. Okay, what about the negative impact on the people? Negative impact. Yes, diseases, yes, diseases and yes, harassment. Categorize. Categorize people. So this is negative. Yeah, negative impact on the people. Now you have multiple golf courses in the country, and these have a positive impact on the people in terms of new vacancies, like new positions. Okay, more jobs, generating more jobs for the people, generating more income for the people. Okay, generating more skills, more training for the people who are going to work in these like luxury places, right? What about the like adjacent projects? Like when you have a major project like this, so they build like housing for the people to be close to the amenity. They build like schools, health centers to be like a sort of taking care of the people who are working in this area. So usually they got benefit from these adjacent projects. Negative? Yeah, negative we said you have having diseases and? Yes, exactly. So because you are using lots of pesticides, so this pesticide is drained into the water supply, and this when it goes to the marine life, it affects the marine life. So see how like one single project have like a different impact on everything around you. We need to assess and know, at least we need to address that whatever we are doing is having an impact on everything around us. Have you heard about the butterfly effect? Did you hear about the butterfly effect? You know the butterfly is this tiny, gentle, like insect. Yeah. When the butterfly move its wing, you have like a minor vibration, right? So this minor vibration, if it starts to generate, it has a huge effect. So it might look like you start having a butterfly, simple air movement by the butterfly, but it makes vibration. And these vibration become bigger and bigger and bigger and have a major effect later on. We call this a butterfly effect. Go back to your life, your personal life, and you will find situation. If you choose one direction, so it led you to consequences. But if you, at that point, take the other choice, it would take you to another direction. So this is the butterfly effect. Okay? Again, here, when we start to do business, the business has major impact on everything around the business. We usually think of the building and the people inside the building, but we need to address the people behind the wall, the people in the community. We need to address the area where we start our business and our impact on the community, on the environment, on the profit. Okay? So this is the main concept of the corporate social responsibility. All right, so at least we have discussed some of the triple bottom line. This is in Thailand. So if you have an idea, now there is a proposal to start a new golf course again in Thailand. This row. How many of you agree to start a new golf course again in Thailand? Again in Thailand. Are you agree? Do you agree to start a new course in Thailand? No. 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 You agree? Good. No. You agree? Yes. No. No. Do you agree to start a new golf course project in Thailand? You're going to have a new. You agree? You agree. Okay. So we have. Sorry? But now we have discussed the major consequences, the negative consequences on the life of the people.
There is a solution. You can do it.
There is solutions. Okay. So out of here we have 2. And here in this row, how many of you agree for a new project in Thailand? Agree. 2. How many? Okay, agree. 2. Now we have 4. Here in this row, 2 agree. So we have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so those 11 took a decision to have a a new project. So they have taken a decision. It should be an ethical decision, right? Which kind of approach they have taken? Which kind of approach you have taken to the...
I'm utilitarian.
Utilitarian?
Utilitarian.
Which one of the utilitarian?
Utilitarian rule.
Yes, exactly. Those people, those, I would say 2, 4, 5, and 3, 8. So 11 people in this room have taken a utilitarian rule approach to take their decision, because they are willing to repeat the decision on and on and on, and to repeat the same project on and on and on. So they have taken a utilitarian rule approach to take their decision. They value the positive more than the negative effect of the project. And they think the group of people here who approved it to have a new project, in their thoughts that the major effect, that these projects make much more benefits to a large number of people, and that's why you take the decision. Am I right? Yes. Okay.
We see the advantage is more than disadvantage.
They see the advantage is more than the disadvantage. Anyway, so this is how they take the decision. So the approach they implement here, because you're going to repeat it, is utilitarian rule. But on the other hand, the people who didn't approve having a new project also take a utilitarian rule. Because they said if we agree for the second and third and fourth and fifth and seventh, again in the future we will not have any farming land to farm and cultivate. If we continue having the same projects, we will not have enough money, enough water to irrigate our land and to drink from. And if we continue to have this, we have lots of the people who are become sick and having cancers. So, yes, but at this point, this is the next question. But at this point, this is how they take their decision. I'm right. Am I right? Okay, so now you applied the analysis of the triple bottom line, and you already applied the ethical approach of taking decision. Okay, now what if you are like the neighborhood country, Cambodia, for example, and Cambodia is a very poor country and has no tourist like landmark, for example, okay, and they send one of the governmental leaders to Thailand to study the impact of the golf courses on the economy, on the environment, on the people. And this gentleman or this gentle lady will come back to Cambodia to take a decision. So imagine if you are one of these, the Cambodian people who come back to Cambodia to start, are you going to start a new project from the start, the first one? Are you going to start a golf course in Cambodia? Yes or no? You study some factor first. In Cambodia, it's impossible to start the golf course. But you agreed to have many courses. As you said, it's have a lot of benefits. What about it? It will generate like lots of tourists to come to Cambodia, generate lots of dollars to be spent in Cambodia. Lots of the people who have no jobs will have a new jobs, a new investment, infrastructure. No. Now you are one of the Cambodian leaders, and now you have gone to study the projects in Thailand. You will come back to Cambodia as a Cambodian leader. What's your opinion? Are you going to start the first golf course? No. No, and I'm talking about this is a successful project. Generate lots of money based on your experience to do another one. When you go to Cambodia, nothing there. You will not do. Okay, amazing. And here, are you going to do it in Cambodia? You will. Are you going to do it in Cambodia?
Good project.
Good project. Are you going to do? No. Are you going to do it in Cambodia? No. No. Are you going to do it? Yes. Are you going to do it? Okay. So for the people who said yes, who would like to do it in Cambodia, why? For the same reason of Thailand, which are gold. Yes, start business that generate money. The plus at this point is more than the minus. No one come to Cambodia. We need to make Cambodia like attraction point. Why not? Why not to start the first single project? You have seen the hazards, yes. Yes, sure.
If I'm going to repeat the same model, and I know what is not the greatest benefit for the people, I know what will happen.
In the future.
The same example, but if they are going to find it and make it with a different way, yes, I can copy and paste it to other countries.
Okay, for the people who agree to do it in Cambodia, which approach you are using? Utilitarian act. Yes. And for the people who disagree, which approach you are using? Justice. The same. Utilitarian act. Yes, it's utilitarian act for the first time. Okay. Okay. Now, imagine you are the CEO or the new general director of the golf course, and you are requested to do much more good and to change the idea about the business. What are you going to do? What are the initiatives you are going to do to improve the environment, for example?
You will make it the artificial land, okay, not using hazardous crop, can be artificial way, artificial grass.
You have already what's already on ground. What are you going to do? Now you are the new managing director of already present golf course, and you are requested to change the idea about the golf course. So you reuse the water, right? Okay, good. So you'll save the water resources. Okay, good. What else? Less use of chemicals, yes. Find alternatives. Okay, good. So less use of chemicals. Okay. Using natural fertilizers. Okay. Program for kids for neighbor. Yes, yes. Start to engage community and work with the community. Give them some choices, some benefits from the project. Yes, why not?
Maybe we can create desalination stations.
Create?
Desalination. Clear.
Okay, so
we can compensate the resources.
You can compensate for the resources. Okay. Hiring locals, yes. Give them benefits. Give the local community benefits. Hire them. What else? So engagement in some activity. Hire them. What can?
Some awareness about the environment.
Yes, you can do some awareness about the environment. Yes, why not?
More security to stop harassment.
Yes, but more security issues, security tools to avoid harassment. Yes, yes, sure. Using eco material, resource efficiency material. Yes, yes. So start to initiate and implement eco-friendly resources and building, eco-friendly building. Yes.
To decrease the risk of skin cancer.
Yes.
The workers, they will not work under the sun anymore at night only.
But they need to be at the helper. We call them the caddy. So these are the caddy. These Look here. So she's a caddy, caddy.
Liar bring their assistant.
The same, it's people at the end. Yeah, try to find some source of, of preventive measures to avoid the exposure and treat and early detection. Yes, you can take, subside some of the revenue, some of the profit, to start new projects that help people and community. Exactly. So this is a kind of thinking you can adopt, to modify the situation, to improve the situation. Okay, good.
This is the ball of Tiger Woods. Lanny, what about this?
Vern, this is extremely difficult. This is one of the toughest pitches on the entire place here. He's got to put this well that you can see him looking up the slope. He's almost got to put it up to where you saw Trevor Immelman's ball come from to get it close.
Well, I'm reminded of Davis Love here 4 or 5 years ago when he pitched in.
Yeah, he's a little bit further up, I think, than Davis was.
Yes, he is.
Got the same basic kind
See
of shot.
how
He's
much
gonna have
fans
to
are
get
there?
it close. He's going to have to put it up into the slope, though, somewhat. And, of course, it's made a lot tougher by having that second cut right behind the ball. It almost forces him, I think, to put it back and have to hit a low shot. He cannot put it up in the air with the second cut that close behind the ball. You can see him putting it back in his stance right here and picking the club up like he's going to hit right down on it.
And he's picked out a landing spot that is a good 25 feet above the hole.
There's a good chance he doesn't get this inside the mark of the ball.
ما تنكروش لان جبت لكم لقطات حلوه. تعبان فيهم انا الحاجات دي. Okay. So this is how you can address any CSR project, any CSR case study. Start to look for the different perspective, different group. When we talk about the group here, we talk about the farmers, we talk about the community, we talk about the government as well. Okay. So try to address different groups. You should address the partner, the shareholder, address the partner, address the shareholder, address the community around you, address the customer as well. When we divide the business, we divide the business according to the number of the people working in the business. That's why we have different size of the business. So, and every country, every area, divide the business according to the number of the people who are working in the business. For example, the micro business in Australia, the business that has 1 or 2. In US, 1 to 6. In Europe, less than 10. So this is a micro business. Small, as you see in the figures, come up and up and up and so on. So we have the micro business, we have the small business, medium-sized business, and large business. Okay? This business could be anything, from the simple shop, simple office, simple company, a partnership, anything. You can be like your own business, you can be a partnership, you can be a corporation. So this is the kind of business that we have. And when we address the corporate social responsibility for the small and medium-sized businesses, it's very important because the collection of the total number of the small and medium size is much bigger than the major business. Like how many major business you have in the country? 20? 20 major business? 100? Okay, how many small and medium-sized business? Thousands. Okay, calculate the total of these and of those and the total of those. Maybe equal, maybe the small and medium-sized have much more impact on the economy than the big. The big, so easy, you can see it, but the broad spectrum of the small and medium size have a major impact on the economy and also on people and in the environment as well. So it could be like a small restaurant, shop, barber shop, photocopier, supermarket, whatsoever it could be, right? So do you think this small size business, large size impact as a collective business can do a corporate social responsibility? Yes, actually yes and yes and yes, because it's easy for them. There is no like large policy we need to generate, no major protocol we need to do, no long steps to train our staff. It's like a direct action, direct order, direct initiatives you can take. Small and medium size is so close to the community. They can hear directly from the community. They can respond directly to the community. So they listen to people. They can generate ideas and communicate it to people so easily. That's why they are easily to do the corporate social responsibility. The first thing they can do, they can start by working with the environment. How can they start to work on the environment? Number one, by adopting a highly efficient resources, highly efficient material, highly efficient devices. So they use the highly efficient devices, like the energy saving devices, for example. Okay? So by using this example, like reducing consumption of energy, water, and natural resources, decreasing emission of substance, by doing this, they can have an impact on the CSR. Only changing the bulb, you know, the economy bulb, the new economy LED bulb, by changing the bulb in your office, you are doing corporate social responsibility. By adopting use, reuse, recycle for your paperwork, you are doing corporate social responsibility. So you simply can do it at office, even at home. By properly dispose your waste in different containers. So this is the one I'll give it to the recycle people, and this is the one I will put it in the municipality. So by doing this, you are doing simple corporate social responsibility at your small business, for example, or at your office. By training your staff, it's easy to train your staff. By training your staff new skills, enhance their performance. By doing this, so you are helping your staff, you are helping the people. And it's easy and direct, you can do it. By using green resources and everything greens, everything, decrease the use of the environment, like decrease the exhaustion of the trees, paper for example, having a low emission to the environment. Okay, by using green resources and green energy, by doing this, you are keeping and having a good environmental impact. Also, small business, rather than going from one place to another place or traveling or using airplane or using cars to move, they can simply do a video conference. By doing this, imagine now you are doing a video conversation. How much it costs you? Nothing. Now imagine you will travel from Riyadh to Jeddah to meet someone and have a discussion for 15 minutes. How much it costs you? Money. Okay, how much it costs you if you travel by car? Fuel and emission. How much it costs you for the resources? Loss of resources. The petrol, right? So how much it costs in total? A lot. How much to do it like a video conference? Nothing. It might have the same impact or might not have the same impact, but at least you can do this. By doing this, you are doing a corporate social responsibility. What will happen if you sign? What will happen if you, for example, you register to receive your mail, your telephone bill, your electricity bill by email? How much you will save? Okay, let's go step by step. If you do this, number one, you will save paper and save trees and decrease the waste disposal and decrease the fuel used in car to transport the litter from one place to another place, and decrease the cost, okay, and decrease the time. All of this you can do it by only one single click that you will accept the bill by email. Only single click from you can have a major impact, butterfly impact. So it's easy for you to do a corporate social responsibility practice and initiatives easily, so easy to do it, right? Okay. Okay, what can you do to improve the human resource, for example? Number one, we said we can do what? We can do training. Number two, we can implement safety precautions in our place. We can implement safety precautions. So if you have a construction company, so you request them to follow the safety regulations by using the safety tools, personal safety tools, for example. We can use a role model of safety. Yes, we can adapt a role model from other company, major company, that they use a safety protocol, for example. The second thing, that we can involve the employee in taking decisions, because if you are a small company, it's only 10 of you working in the same place, and you need to take a major decisions. When you involve them in decision making, what you will have from them? Involvement, commitment, sharing, engagement, sense of loyalty. So lots of the positive impact you will have from only start to engage your staff in decision making. What if the economy is going down and you have a financial problem and you need to get rid of some of the staff? What can you do? What can you do? Reorientation, yeah, you can prepare them. You can prepare them and advance their skills and training to have a better opportunity outside your company. That's what you can do. Or you give them a half salary, give them the potential to share 3-5 days per week or more, and give a paid for this number of days working days. By doing this, you are helping them until they find another opportunity to work. So you are sharing the responsibility with them when the economy goes down. What about the human rights, diversity, promoting diversity? You can allow for having diversity in your workplace. You can hire some people from different countries, from different culture, from different religion, showing that you are in this company, we having the culture of diversity. We accept others, and we request others to accept us as well. You can, by doing this, you show your responsibility to human. Right? Helping the community. What can you do to help the community as a small and medium-sized enterprise? What can you do to help the community? Share in the community activity. So if there is today is let's say يوم المرأة, يوم الأم, يوم الأب, يوم الصحة, you can share in this activity. Show commitment. Show commitment to the community. Share in the activity of the community. Or you can allow some of your staff, give them the time to go and share on behalf of the company, to be part of the event and representing the company in that event. So help the community. What else? If you have an old items and you need to get rid of these items, you can donate it for the needy people, for example. By doing this, you are helping the community. Or if you are selling stuff and you know that there is certain organization in need for this stuff, you can offer your stuff in a very affordable prices. By doing this, you are helping the community. So there are lots of things that you can do to help the community as a small and medium-sized enterprise. Also, you can help to train the people in the community. If you have some juniors who would like to start their business or like to have some training before they apply for a major companies, so you can allow them to come and have training in your small business. By doing this, so you engage and you empower the community members to have the experience and skills before they can join the workforce in like a big, and have a good chance to have a position in big companies. So if we say like this, can you answer me? Can small business do the following? Provide a safer working environment and education assistance to employee. They can? Do you have an example from your company? Okay. Can the business improve contractual relationship with employee? Enhance the contract, increase the salary, for example, decrease the working hours. Yeah, it can be. Do you have example in your company? Yes, please.
We are paying in incentive base. That means employee will be paid for a quota. Above the quota, he will be paid incentive.
So you change the contract. You add a value for the contract.
Value that, okay, the salary is paid for a certain quota. If employee exceeded this quota, he become like a partner. That means he will start receiving incentive. This incentive sometimes is equivalent to the salary.
Okay, equivalent to the salary.
Yeah, so the employee can double his
Yes, double salary.
doing more incentive hike.
Okay. Enhance gender equity in the workplace. Doesn't happen. Gender equity.
Equality or equity?
Equity, equality, both the same.
Yeah, make separate section. Or
Make separate section. This is not
equality.
Not equity.
But privacy.
Privacy.
Housing allowance.
Housing allowance.
Are not giving to the female.
So this is against. So it's against. Okay. Use more efficient appliances like the light bulb or vehicle. So can they do this? Okay. Did you do it in your company?
Yeah, we manufacture lights.
You manufacture lights. Philips, yes. Philips. You manufacture this kind of lights. But have you changed it? In your company, did you change the light system, for example, to have a more efficient energy saving building? Have you seen the new design of McDonald's? Have you seen the new design of McDonald's? McDonald's changed the design to be more efficiently building. Source from the local supplier. Sometimes we are requesting small and medium-sized enterprise to have sources from the local supplier. You know those small shops in the community. So you are requested to start to buy from these small shops. By doing this, you are helping the community, you are adding value to them, you increase their revenue, and by this you empower them to have a good income and to have a good condition in their social life. So by the end of the day, we have discussed the following. We have discussed morals, moral responsibility, ethics, business ethics, why we should have business ethics. And then we have been introduced to the corporate social responsibility. We knew the different function in business that we should address when doing the corporate social responsibility. We have at least 2 case studies. We started with the Volkswagen one, and we ended with the golf course one. We studied these 2 case studies, and now we can generate lots of thoughts and ideas how they can positively affect and negatively affect people, how they can positively and negatively affect the environment and as well the income. By the end of the day, I think you got the concept of the corporate social responsibility. And from now, when you see any ad, any commercial on TV or any debate about something happening in the community or around the world, that you can know now they are talking about this project, this problem, this scandal, because it has this impact on the world we live in. Okay? Any question? Any question? Tomorrow, inshallah, we'll have another case study to discuss, and we will focus at the end on our final assignment to have more debate about what can we do and how can we write it. Okay? Okay. Thank you very much.